changed. There is 6 competition sheep to shear. 5 was in the senior, 6 in this event, the Golden Shears Open class. These are the Master Blasters. Ladies and gentlemen and children, I hope you're enjoying your afternoon here at the Golden Shears. Great to see those veterans have come through. The aim of the game is to get the red ribbon at the end of this event tomorrow evening and pocket $3,000. That is the aim of these 6 open class shearers. We have a green light. Could we have the shearers on the board? Thank you, Mr. Referee. Shearers on the board, please. Long way down there, Willie, to say no, isn't it? It's a long way down there to say no. But each shearer has the right to call the official if he feels he's got an unjust sheep. But of course, these are very experienced judges, and they've had a word with the farmer and says, we've got no replacements, just shear them.
Let's go. Gerald, this is Golden Shears, 3,000 prize. That's coming up. This now we're getting under and
bit of inside running here on where some of the money's flying. And in this case, we've got one bet of $1,000 on Dion King. So if Dion King wins this baby tomorrow night, it's $8,000 for that man.
Whoa.
We've put also, someone's put $2,000 on David Fagan. These are one-off bets.
$2,000?
$2,000 on David Fagan to win. And that would be a $5,000 purse if David pulls that off. And then someone's put $1,000 on David Buick to win. And that would be a $6,000 payday. So there's a fair bit going on, isn't there, around the place? As well as the open heats. We've got the TAB running, and huge amount of excitement going on, and all the glitz and glamour as you would expect for the Golden Shears here in Masterton.
We should have asked the TAB guy, Mr. Kieran McAnulty, who sets the odds, whether that would change the odds at all. Because David Fagan's paying $3. How much was put on David Fagan?
There was $2,000 put on David Fagan for $5.
So,
I mean for $5,000 they're going to win.
$5,000, so $2,000. Yep, he's still paying the $3. So I just wondered if it would have brought his odds down, because that's how it works. And the more money that goes on, the less the guy pays or the horse pays.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Well, we're getting underway, viewers, with the open shearing for 2015, and on stand number 1 we've got from Muruwai in the East Coast, the big tall Māori boy, Shelford Wilcox. And look at the time. We haven't seen the time. We should have grabbed the bling and stopwatch, because we just can't see the time. And the sponsors of this event is the mighty Golden Shears, Gerald.
All the Golden Shears carry this. That's brilliant.
They carry all this.
Oh, lovely stuff. Remembering, viewers, that this is it's a non-profit organisation.
Non-profit.
And hence, all this airtime that Tui's getting, or Trust House, and all the people that are involved here. And you can't run the show without it. And all the people that are involved, the committee, of course, are all volunteers. So yeah, there's a lot of work goes into this baby. Now, Tristan Mackay, Wairarapa, he's got that baby out of the way. Down the porthole. What happens now? Well, there's a couple of judges down there, and that sheep's going to get tipped onto its tail, and they're going to judge underneath, all the belly up around the neck and under the cheek or the chin of the sheep, and you need to have that head really nice and clean, otherwise it stands out a mile. From there, what happens is it goes from one side to the other side, and it'll be turned there, and the judges will give the call to the person who's tipping it round when they've finished and felt that they've done a good job of gathering the amount of points that they require for penalty points against that shearer. And they'll be hard to find, because these boys are all very skilled.
They're coming out nice, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, Gerald, well, that's another local boy from Martinborough. More renowned for the wine, isn't it?
Martinborough.
Martinborough. Beautiful wines.
Oh, good. We
Well,
like that.
these sheep are probably from the hills that we can't grow the vines. So down the last side he comes, and look, there's personnel from all around the country judging here. We've got an Australian judge as well, and this young guy with his big tā moko, his Māori moko on his arm, and he's shearing away. Isn't the quality of the film great?
Yeah, it's terrific. Very lots of tattoos these days, isn't it? It's taking a real hold, really.
Well, they reckon it was the All Blacks and the Warriors or the Kiwis that started the tattoos, but it was actually the Maori people that got that going, didn't they? And it's become so fashionable now. But to be bluntly honest, I think there might be too much. There could be a little bit too much, but we can't talk too much. Our son's got a few, so we're being informal now. Right. We're not very formal here. We're going to have a good time, viewers, and let's be honest and talk a little bit about the Golden Shears. And on the right or left-hand side or right-hand side of your screen, you can see what number sheep they're up to. This guy's on sheep number 3. Patrick Duncan from Alexandria, he's on sheep number 3. We've got his board points there. They're shearing, I think, 5 or I'm not quite sure. I think it's normally 6 sheep they would shear.
Yeah, they're going to shear 6, yes. Correct.
So he's his pen, his board points so far, well, there they are up on the screen. Look at that. Yeah. Our man Johnny on the spot. He's really bringing up those points for us to see, and the time has ticked by. 4 minutes and 13 seconds has gone by. Michael Fabish, another young guy from Stratford over there in the East Coast. And all these guys, they really should have got their entries in early, and they might have shorn in the late, because I would believe the sheep are going to warm up by then.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and look, it's a big plus as a part of a committee to know who's coming, what the numbers are, so you can run a real efficient, healthy show. Really, that's what you want to call it. So everything's on time and going. So if you are a late entry, or if you enter late, the disadvantage you're going to have is you're going to be in those early heats.
And you've got to pay a little bit more too.
That as well, yeah. So there's encouragement to try and get you involved in committing to shows. And normally you would have a fair idea if you're going to go to the Golden Shears, and you can commit yourself early to say, look boys, I'll be there. I'll be there with bells on. So meanwhile, a bit of plucking going on here by Famish. That last shoulder there, working that left hand. This is where that left hand does a whole power work. It actually works all the way around the sheep, actually, folks out there, because that's where it's all lined up. The actually handpiece hand, it's just pushing, and everything's lined up with the feet, the knees and the toes, and the left hand especially, to make sure everything's in place to get those shots correctly and done.
Hey, this is an interesting shearer. This guy, Roger Neal. Roger has been a past Golden Shears finalist, and we haven't seen him down here for a good 10 plus years. And he turned up at Pahia Tour the other day, at the Pahia Tour Shears. Flash Gordon, Duxfield, and his show there, he made the finals.
Did he?
Sure, his 20 sheep in 17 minutes.
Wow.
This is I called him Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back, and he's just come back.
Right. Oh yeah, don't you like people like that? Because there is another side to shearing. You know, these are all the show shearers, and they go in the sheds and do the day-to-day graft. Yeah, they do. They put the hard yards and the Darren Fords and them, and all these boys here. But there is a whole scene in behind the show shearing scene, isn't there? Of the boys that have, debt to pay, or a farm to run, and food to put on the table, all those sorts of things. And they just go for the guaranteed dollar, and they go, when the sheep are dry, they go to work, they shear a good tally every day and go home. And they're not worried about the accolades and all this sort of stuff. But great to see, people sort of disappear into the woodwork, into the hills,
then come
back. They're like Barry Gruntwood, you go missing for a while and then turn up again.
He's got quite a good sheep shearing run there in the Taumaranui district too. So
yeah.
He's, I think that's probably occupied his time for the last few years. But talking to him the other day in Paiatua, it sounded like he come down to support his old mate David Fagan, knowing this is his swan song year. So he's here to give him a little bit of a good send off, and he probably want to get up there and beat the bugger too.
Yeah, definitely. That'll be there. It reminds me of a story of last year, really, when 6 or 7 guys went around with John Huck.
Yes.
On his last year, when he'd done all the shows, and they travelled around together in a van. So it was
Truman journey.
Real boys journey. And they turn up to all the shows, and they'd all have a share, and a lot of them have passed their best too. But they're away here to John, and John would have his share, and they went right around the circuit and finished up here, didn't they, last year? So the Shearing family, very, very strong. It takes a lot of commitment to do that out of your own life and your own business and everything like that, to say, hey, look, you've been a good mate of mine. We've had some hard days in the shed. We've had some really good times around the world shearing sheep. Let's do this. I'll come with you. I'll support you through this. So it's great to see you.
Oh, it's great. And look at the points. I tell you what, those are pretty good points for a very first heat. You know, the guys finished 6 sheep in 8 minutes. I think it's going to get faster. I think there's going to be some sub 6 minutes. These guys are probably, see, he's turned blue on Roger Neal. That's his total points, and he would probably look. Shelford Wilcox is probably could pip him. His points are still working away. He hasn't finished yet though.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so he's still getting an accumulation. As the Alexandra man's finished there, just on the right of your screen there, Patrick Duncan. Of course, up in Alex there, Peter Lyon, one of the big contractors up there.
Yes.
He hasn't got a monopoly, he just got a massive big run there. And he brought actually an old camping ground, because that's how many staff he's got. They're all staying all the camping ground. So he's got that set up. But they shear a lot of sheep over there, and a lot of merinos as well, and half-breeds in there. So good to see them here. Of course, he was part of the Shearing Gang program. If a lot of people have seen that on TV, the Shearing Gang program that went round, which was quite, I found it quite, I thought they did it in good taste, but kept it, real, as it sort of went. The shearing, the shearing lifestyle of the stay-out gangs and the hard days that they put in, and a bit of mischief that they get up to, all those sorts of things that they do.
Well, young people working hard, gathering around, and it was a good portrayal. Maybe they might do it in the North Island on the crossbred, but we don't have a lot of camp out jobs like we used to, like they do in the South Island. Hey Gerald, just looking outside, we've got a little bit of rain. That's a relief for the farmers. They're going to be quite happy with the rain. So there we go, there's our first heat. Shelford Wilcox comes out on top. 35.7, so that's the benchmark they've got to get under. We're taking 30 shearers through for the top shootout tonight, the quarterfinals.
It actually gets serious then, doesn't it? And a lot of a lot of hype for that top 30. A lot of people are very proud to say to their mates, "Oh, I actually made the top 30 at the Golden Shears." Whereas that may be, I made a semi-final somewhere else. But at the Golden Shears, you say, "Did you make the top 30?" "Yeah, I did." "Good on you. That's a good effort. It's not easy to make the top 30. There's no give-me's here at the Golden Shears, is there? So yes, good. And we're rolling on to Heat 2 now, and I think by the stance, it's amazing how you can pick posture, isn't it? I don't know, just looking from here, that looks like Darren Ford just on stand 3 there, but wait till we get a closer view. But lots and lots of very talented shearers to still arrive upon the board here yet.
Gerald, you and I, we've got a couple of hours here, and we're going to keep our viewers. We may disappear for a little while, come back, but with the way we've got it set up, the cameras, there's roving cameras around the buildings, and we'll be able to swarm, because the stadium is actually filling up quite nicely. They're all here to see the jobs happen. Lloyd Alexander, another past finalist. Here we are, we're zooming around the stadium here. It's an interesting afternoon here at the Golden Shears here in Masterton for the year 2015. There's our sponsors.
Been very good to see, on behalf of the local community, where all the school children were turning up, where the principals have given the children some time off, and the teachers have brought them along, and some parents have come along to support them here as well. Great for them to get involved and see something like this and support a show of this calibre. And it does need support to make sure this keeps on running, as it will. But also, of course, it's so vital to the New Zealand community as a whole to make sure that the rural sector and the urban people are very much meshed and intermingled, and that we understand all the different dynamics that we're both in troubles and hurdles and all those sorts of things that we both face in our day-to-day lives, because we both do rely on each other strongly in New Zealand. And it's just good that we keep that knowledge of each other strong. So it's great to see them here, and I know there's a lot of businesses locally here that support the Golden Shears, and that's brilliant too. This is Big Chas Tairiki here. He's from down our way, from Riverton. You can watch this, ladies and gentlemen, if you get a good view of this. Chas is actually an instructor. Now, he doesn't shear full time, but he makes these finals. He has a go when he's around the shows, just having a catch up with people. But he goes around teaching all the young ones now on, learner courses as well as the advanced courses. But he does it so easy, the big fella, and does it so well. Of course, he rolls into the semis. He's made the top 12 for the PGG right since. And I said to him, good effort there, Chas. How'd you do that? He said, I just had to go at a few shows. So this is how you do it correctly, ladies and gentlemen. You don't use a lot of wasted energies. That flicks the belly wool out the back. His points at this stage, he hasn't got any on the board, so that means he had a duck, what they call a duck egg on the first sheet, meaning no second guts for the first sheet. That's how you do it right. He's going to put a shoe. See how he really concentrated there on that last undermine? That's going to make that last side really good for her, of course, because we know that you've got to shear the whole thing. You either have a small first half and a big last half, or just do the whole thing correctly. But this is a good man. These are the sorts of people that, one, they're dedicated to the shearing industry, but these are the ones that we want, teaching these young fellas how to do this correctly, because it is a pattern, and you want to learn that pattern correctly at the beginning, so when it does become just a habit in your life, you can just hop up there and do your thing, like jumping on your push bike.
Once you learn how to ride a bike, you never forget.
Yeah, that's
Well, as a young boy, I think this is his first season in the open class.
Yeah.
A huge family, Hemi Braddock and Ekatahuna, just up the road here. Wairarapa boy, and then he goes for sheep number 3. They're not fast shearing.
No. Well, the what do you call it? The committee, they keep it honest. They only do a quarter of belly. There is preparation that goes into these show sheep, okay, where they do a little bit of a blow above the teats and a wee bit around the crutch area for health of the sheep, really, in case there's a stray blow. But at the Golden Shears, they keep you honest. They put that belly. You can take a belly off. They've only got a small wee blow in there, whereas a lot of other times the half the belly's missing. You can fire 2 or 3 quick shots in there and be done with it. But here at the Golden Shears, no. And off to the top knot there, Colin Dennison from Currell.
Is he a contractor?
He could be, Colin, actually. He still knows how to shear a few sheep. I'll give him that, doesn't he? Look at that. He's got those quick little wee shots. Of course, this is still the Godfrey Bowen style that one day he decided that that's how it's going to work. Well, the government asked him to do that, to make a uniform way of shearing a sheep, a bit like Henry Ford made a uniform way of creating cars, which was the Model T. In this case, this is a Godfrey Bowen style of shearing. That was a second cut, ladies and gentlemen. That was a great high definition.
Yeah, that was a penalty. That was a penalty.
That was. So that was good viewing in a way. Not so good for Colin, because that's a second cut or a penalty against him. So yeah, within general, that Godfrey Bowen style is gone right through all these years. There's been the odd change. David Fagan's changed that first shoulder where he spins right round, and instead of moving your way slowly around there as you take it off, he spins around and then whips it all off. But in general, it stayed pretty much the same as it has for a long time.
Well, back in those days, of the Godfrey Bowen days, he obviously had the funding to do it, and I believe he travelled everywhere where he heard of a person, a certain shearer that could shear a sheep pretty good. He took the best from everybody and developed that pattern, didn't he? That's how it all happened, and that's in the 50s. And that guy shore all over the world, and I was lucky to meet Mr. Godfrey Bowen myself. Back in the early 70s, when he was just about ready to retire. And then we had Robin Kidd come along, and he picked it up and carried it on. And so these are the neat trainings that are going on now. This is his son shore yesterday. I think he's about 4'2".
Oh, yeah, the Ruben Alabaster.
This is the dad, Ricky Alabaster.
Oh.
And the great Ray Alabaster?
Yeah.
Nephew. This Ricky's the nephew.
Oh, right. Wow. Isn't that amazing? That young fella at 11 years of age, Wasn't that sensational?
Probably only about 35 kilos too, wasn't it? If that.
Yeah, he's just a little fella. And he's back here again today, and he's got his shearing pants on, and he's just proud as punch.
We're still wearing his moccasins.
He's still, yeah, amazing. It was just great to see him up here. Eh? He's got a very, very strong will and mind. He's just determined to be a good shearer.
What's he going to be like in 10 years' time? He'll be 21.
Yeah, he'll be going well by then. He actually reminds me, he wasn't a shearer then, but Nathan Stratford, who's one of New Zealand's top shearers and one of the world's top shearers, he was very similar. Nathan went around all the shows with his late father, Kerry Stratford, who was a shearer and then of course a judge. And I remember doing, emceeing and commentating way back there, and there was this little boy running around, and he went to every show with his father. And as soon as he had a chance to get on that shearing stand, because he'd been so entrenched in the shearing environment, that's all he wanted to do.
Right.
And here he is now. So yeah, the young fella Alexandra, he's off to a fresh start, and he'll be into it. Now, of course, there's been a lot of great sports people that have shown big tallies when they're really young. I think Zinzan Brook had pumped out quite a lot of sheep, at a very young age when he was still at school. He wasn't as young as Reuben, but yeah. That's that Colin Lloyd Alexandra.
Well, that's his son that I think he may have qualified for the senior final. And well, he's made a Golden Shears Open final before, and he's probably the only one in this crew that in this lineup of shearers that has made a Golden Shears final. And this is $3,000.
Yes.
A member of the New Zealand shearing team, the Chris and June Fagan trophy. So there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, there's a lot at stake. They don't give the red ribbons of the Golden Shears out very often, do they?
No,
you've got to work hard for them.
There's not many of them.
On the day, you've got to have a fair bit going for you. You can't. It's not a place to go relying on your natural ability and your reputation of the past.
We start with a clean slate.
You do here. You're dead right. Yeah. So, it's like that Hemi Braddock, there has been and still is these shearers that have been around a long time. And hey, look, I call Nathan Stratford and always have, young Stratty. But Stratty's actually 41. Stratty's been around a wee while now. But we're sort of comparing him. But some of the other ones, we've got Grant Smith, Tony Costa, David Fagan, of course. They've been around there for a while, but there is this little wave after all these years that's just starting to come up behind them.
Yeah.
And I can sense...
Tsunami.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And that is the Buicks and those sorts of ones, David Buick and them coming up. And yeah, I can sense there's going to be a changing of the guard, in a sense. And it may happen quite quickly.
Yeah.
It's another heat done, isn't it? People will be enjoying this, isn't it?
Oh, it's wonderful, and we're building towards the highlight this evening. We've got the top 30 shootout, and Chas Tohiariki might make that top 30.
Oh, very much so. You're sitting in the audience as a lay person, you look up there, he's a big, strong fella, and he makes shearing look so easy. You think, he's doing his thing up there. But no, he goes through, because he puts those shots exactly where they should be. He's got the sheep all lined up, all the shoulder blades are bent in, so everything's nice and flat. And he could be in the top 30.
Well, Roger and Neil Shaw in the first heat, and this guy, Lloyd Alexander, both have come back after many, many years. Well, look at Lloyd Alexander. Oh no, that's how they finished up. Chaz's young Hemi Braddock has just pipped him.
37, yeah, Chaz is 37. Right, yeah. How's he?
We had Shelford Wilcox 35, wasn't it?
Yeah, Bodie and Hawkins. So here we have Angus Moore. Now he's one of those ones on the tsunami. He's riding the tip of the wave. Okay.
Do you know Joe Tumohi very well?
Not very well. From Balputha.
Right.
It's him and his brother. Now they have
Matt,
dead right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now they have been out and about doing their thing, but whatever, they've lit a wee fire in their belly because they have arrived on the scene. They are just, the pair of them are out there. They're making plate finals, some finals, winning speed shears.
Big strong boys.
Yeah, they are just into it. The pair of them, Tamohi boys. Yep, the one's up here. I don't think Matt's here, but Joe's here, and you'll see him going here. So he'd be another one just to watch out for. They're just on their case, on that rise.
You see on stand 2, the judge put his hand up and the referee's come along. Just explain to the viewers what's going on there. Did you see the referee go into stand 2? Just explain to our viewers why the ref's gone in there.
Right, yeah, well, viewers, what can happen is in this case you've got 6 sheep in there, and the shearer is allowed a certain amount of time to inspect those sheep. As I said, they've been well presented by the farmers, been well drafted up so that everything is even and as equal as we possibly can make it. However, if they feel there is a disadvantage in that pen, that they are more disadvantaged than the man beside him, in this case Joe, they may get the ref, the board ref is there. There's also a chief ref beyond that for any other stuff that might go on around the place, and they can ask the question. They can say, look ref, I think this is a disadvantage to me, and the ref has the last and final say on that there to say, yes, I think it is too, you can have a fresh sheep from out the back. And that one there just gets rattled and chucked down the hole to go back to the farmer fully clothed as it is, and then they'll get a fresh one. That's what that's all about. But in general,
thank you, Joe.
They're very even.
I'm going to go look for us a fan.
Good idea. I will carry on with the commentating. Right, Angus Moore. Here's one of those ones that is on that wave. Here he goes, just spinning round here. That's the long blow time here. He throws the leg over and locks it up. It looks so easy. Poetry in motion, isn't it? Watching a shearer shear a sheep. It's very easy to get distracted when you're a farmer and you go into your shearing shed and you think, I'll just spend 5 minutes or so. I've just watch these boys and see how they're getting on, and next minute an hour is gone and you're still leaning on that bale at the doorway, because there's just something about watching shearers get it done. And there's been lots of innovation in the world. As you know, you can buy a computer and it's out of date before you get it home these days. It's moving that quick, and we're all walking around with mini computers in our pockets, phones and cameras and everything all together the size of whatever, not much anyway, a couple of credit cards. But no, innovation hasn't got the old robot or anything like that at this stage shearing the sheep. So this is Joe Tamohi here from Balclutha. He also with all the tats on the arm there. It's up and round the back of the head. He heads. He's got half a point on the board. In this case, he's only done 1. So he got 1 second, a bit under 1 second cut there, and away he goes. He wants to do a bit of jiggling on him, but he's got it settled down now. Good length of wool. They've got to work. It's sort of second shear come full wool in a way, isn't it? When you look at the length of that, there's a real good, good fleece there. It's not just breaking away, which might suit the southerners. Us southern boys from down the deep south who are collecting up our ear points, travelling all around the place to these shows up north and the likes. Might suit us because we're very familiar with this longer wooled sheep. Due to down our way, we do a lot of full wool shearing, which is 12 months of wool. Nookie Gordon from Masterton. Now he's a local, so he may be getting a little bit of encouragement from his family down there in amongst the audience, which is good. And he dives into the belly ball there. If you're wondering what all those things are on their wrist, those little yellow bands, that's to get in and out of the Golden Shears at the doorway. So it's not one of those sports bands you might think that you'll see those tennis players wearing, those sports bands that are somehow to re-energise your body and give you extra strength. No, they're just to get you in the door. But anyway, he doesn't need extra strength, this man from Masterton, Nookie Gordon, as he fires up and round, keeping hold of that head. The key to really maintaining a sheep's composure and a sheep's position and all those things all revolves around that head. You've got to keep hold of that head and control it, even out in the field. Even if you're any sheep farmers listening will be nodding their head to me right now saying, yeah, that's right there, Gerald. Even anywhere where they're catching a sheep because it's had a dead lamb, or you need to handle a sheep in the yards, all control is done by the head. As long as you've got the head, you've got full control of it. How's the Angus Moore going? It's got a total of 14.7, so going very, very well. Tomohi with an 18 there. He'll be hoping to get that a wee bit better. Osborne, a guy who we've got Bodine Hawkins, 18.9. We've got Osborne here from Dargaville. Gives it a wee flick. You see him just sort of roll that baby over. Now he's on his way down. Bit of plucking. You're allowed to do that. Normally the wool will have a little bit of a break in it, especially if it's sort of a wee bit lonely. It's not like a rope, it hasn't got the rest of its mate hanging around it. And it'll have a wee break in it. That's when the sheep's taken maybe just a wee check in food or whatever it might be, and nature, Mother Nature says, well, I know where I'll get a few reserves from, and that's normally out of the wool, which then creates just a little break or a bit of a weak spot. And if you just give it a wee pull, it will normally just break off, and that's totally legal as long as you haven't stopped your time clock. You can pluck it off and pull the odd tassel, and the tassels are the little wee things in and around the legs and ears and the bits and pieces. You can pull them off. There's a handpiece change here by Bryce Guy, so he's decided there on sheep 5 with one still left in the pen. He's not happy with the cut, which you can sense as a very experienced shearer that it's just not flowing quite right, and it makes a big difference. I know a man's not supposed to, what would you call it, blame your tools for what's going on, but in the shearing industry it's essential you have a good clean cut, and that way it'll enter well, it cuts well, and the sheep doesn't want to kick in the lights. So you get a fresh cut on it. And second shear, well, it's a drier, more wiry sort of fibre than a long wool. The long wool seems to, or the 12-month full wool seems to have, more lanolin in it, that greasy sort of stuff. That's the lanolin, which stings if you've got a cut on your hand. It's not ideal. And then it's a whole lot easier to, push your handpiece through. It flows better. And there's another thing, it actually comes to you, which is an unusual sort of thing. Whereas second shear, you've got to chase it just stays exactly where it is. But with full wool, you can manipulate it quite a bit with the weight of the wool and how the skin will move. So you can actually sort of feed your handpiece, which makes it a whole lot quicker. Bodine Hawkins, a Martinborough. Fires one. See that? Only 2. Sort of 2.5 shots down that first hind leg. And then off of the top knot. Up the neck he goes now. Breaks it nice and free. That's has to be done. It's illegal if you don't do that. Otherwise it's called a hoop neck. You can't chuck it over the back like once you did. Why not? Because a hoop neck blocks up the wool scour. When these fleeces go to the scour, if you've got a hoop neck on it, it blocks up the rollers. And hence that's why they made it illegal. Because once the rollers get blocked in the scour when we're trying to wash all this stuff out, it's no good. So it's sort of an illegal practice, and you can lose points for it if you do not break the neck open on the neck of the sheep and you do a hoop neck on it. Where are they up to now? Sheep 6, finishing touches here. We've got Gordon in the middle there, the Masterton man. Up the undermine he goes. Tightens the tension knob again. And he's just not quite flowing with that baby. He's not happy with all that gear he's got there. Round the back of the ears he goes. Angus Moore, he should be happy with that. How's his points? So 31, and he's in the blue, and he's finished. He's got the stopwatches knocked off. So that's just super. The local man, Gordon. He'll be hearing a bit of noise, I'd say, from his mates. I'm very sure of it. We're in a green room, moreover. By jolly, we're in a sauna at the same time. Even though it's raining, it's still hot as toast here.
It'll be 40 odd degrees in here.
Will be too. So
I've just had a look at the website. It's coming through beautiful, Gerald.
Oh, good work. That's all good.
Is your Southland man?
So Cora's been away getting us a fan just to keep us cool in case we get too excited.
We were getting as hot as the shearers.
Yeah, we were too. We're right. Smoke-free stadium and smoke-free surroundings all around here, the immediate surroundings.
Hey, touch a little bit about on that smoke-free, I don't like that word, but the women folk in the industry smoke more than the men folk, I reckon. What are your thoughts on that too?
Generally, my personal thoughts are the same. I actually see more women smoking now than men. Yeah. just an observation, mate.
Well, maybe they're under more stress and they have to turn to a cigarette or something like that. But we are sponsored by Smoke Free and Aotearoa New Zealand 2025. The ultimate goal is to have nobody smoking in New Zealand. Good luck. I wish them well. I've never smoked. I tried like hell to smoke when I was younger. Never had much fun. Still try. Never had much fun. So I'll leave it to everybody else.
Yeah, I'm with you too. Age 15 at a hostel I was at, we went out under a tree to try a smoke there, and they showed me this drawback thing because I was a bit a country boy and didn't know what was going on, and I was ill after that, and that was it. So I've done half a smoke in my life. I've never touched them again since. So that's one way to fix it. But apparently nicotine's very, very addictive, and once it does get a wee bit of a hold on you, it can be very difficult to get rid of. But anyway, it is a smoke-free stadium and the surrounding areas, and everyone here has the opportunity to go and see the ladies outside to discuss issues or thoughts they may have about maybe wanting to give up, or different scenarios. There's also a little wee sort of survey going on out there. We can win $100 for the day as well, so worth going to have a wee chat
and
to them.
They make a draw in the stadium. You've got to be here at the stadium to get that anyway. But it's great, and we're getting through them. It's very slow. What was the last heat? They were averaging around 8 minutes.
Yeah, they would be. Some good shearers in there. Angus Moore done very well. Tamohi done well. And they'll keep rolling up. It's just heat 3 it'll be now, isn't it? This will be heat 4, is that right? Tui, of course, one of their major sponsors,
and the
across the way.
Kurapuni Tavern is having the Tui girls there, and they'll be coming into the stadium. Of course, we have the Tui event here at the Golden Shears.
Yeah, that adds a bit of flavour to it, doesn't it? It's tonight, is it? Tomorrow night.
Hey, the pressing was great.
Oh, pressing was great.
And we've got a first timer going in there, Ronnie Eriha from the Hawke's Bay. He's up against the 12-time winner, Jeremy Goodyear. It's going to be good tonight, and we're going to take them up onto the stage.
Yeah, it's an entertaining thing. So shearing for a matter of it, that pressing was terrific. And did you see Jeremy, the bundles of wool that he lifted in that semi-final on the beat? It was huge. He just about filling one side with one bundle. I don't know how much he had. And
3 armfuls.
He just went full. And he had this massive. I must admit, like he had a lot of weight on there because he was right down on the ground. He just hoisted up like a weightlifter.
Yes.
Up it come. Somehow he had this huge big armful of wool. Phenomenal.
And the weight was required for the judges set a target of 160. He was 160.
He was 160. He's right on the button. And at 160, they're working on those presses.
Yeah.
Like I was doing shearing commentary at the time, and I was looking over there because I was getting sort of distracted with it, actually, as one would. And when it comes to those last few clicks, they start off with those big swings with the pull downs way back. But when it comes to that end, they're down to the old one click at a time, bang up, bang up. Yeah, they're getting buggered. Yeah. But then it's full on from. They're doing 8 minutes full on. Yeah. They're not holding back. Logically, scientists know that the body can only go, at full speed for so long. But somewhere along the line, they forgot to tell pressers, and they forgot to tell shearers, and they forgot to tell them all the stuff. And since we didn't know, we just did it. I think if the energy expended by a shearer every day is like running a marathon.
Well, David Fagan's defied the odds, hasn't he? He's 53 years of age. And it's been described as a full day shearing as running a marathon. I reckon an open final, 20 sheep shorn in 20 minutes or so, it's another marathon.
It is a marathon, very much so. And it'd be, it's good for the public and the viewers to understand that they don't hold back. There's a few tactics in there, picking their pen in bits and pieces, but they don't really think, I better take it easy for the first 6 or 7 and save myself for the last 14. No, some of them be slower out of the blocks, but that's just their personality, their make-up, and they're just not, their body just doesn't come out of the blocks steaming, and they will build into it. The Joe Clark used to be like that. He would always come steaming back once upon a time, once he got the sheep out 12. But in general, they're giving it everything they got for up to close to 20 minutes.
Gerald, hey, I might bring another guest in here at the moment, and I've got him outside. I might bring him in, and well known to the Golden Shears. Hopefully he's still available and hasn't run away, so I'll go and get this guy and see we can bring him into the conversation as well.
Good idea. Good work. Anything's going to... Here's Colin O'Neill from Alexandria, ladies and gentlemen. He will be part of the New Zealand shearing team. Or he is part of the New Zealand shearing team from being very successful at the Alexandria show. He is actually, I was talking about the a shearing gang pro. He was based quite a lot around Mouse O'Neill was his name, or his nickname, Colin O'Neill. So he's a tremendous man on the merinos and the fine wool breeds. Here he is today. He's on these crossbreds at the moment. Super shearer, likes to get the job done. Big, runs the gang, or he's known as a ganger for Peter Lyon. So he runs the gang down there. That means he's in charge, of the gang and the stay out. He's in charge of everything that's going on around the place. He keeps in close contact with the farmer as he bangs one up the neck there, up and over the head he goes, and all the sorts of things. He makes all the decisions and does Pete's job. He normally gets paid a bit of a bonus for that. He normally would drive the van to work and home and take all those responsibilities, and he's normally a good tally man too. So he gets the job done. Rumour has he just gets to work. One of these real good honest shearers as he fires down on that last shoulder. Look at that, he flicks it over, whacks that little second cut off. He says, I'll take that now, I won't leave it for the judges out the back. On the journey home he goes. Total points at the moment of 13.5. Mouse O'Neill from Alexandria getting himself mentally prepared for the big finale there at the when he represents New Zealand. Then we've got young Brett Roberts. Well, he's been in a lot of big finales. He's a big strong fella, this fella, all the way from Matara. Brett Roberts. He won the senior here last year, folks. And he's been up to the open grade all this season. Last season had a lot of success all around the circuit, South and North Island, and then he come here for the big pinnacle and he pulled it off, and he was a champion, and I think he was the best quality as well. And since then he went straight to the open grade, and that's the premier. There's no grade higher than that, and he has just excelled. Sometimes you'll see them, they go missing for 3 or 4 years as they start to try to build up their speed and stamina to start mixing with a lot of these guys that have been in the open for a long time. But no, not Brett Roberts. He's popped up here and he's winning quality awards, and look at that for cleanness. Beautiful little baby. So that was young Brett Roberts there. So yeah, he's starting to really mix it up with some of these older fellas already, and he's got a good style going there. So we've got Alan Grant here from Scotland now. Round he goes. He's a lot of people from Scotland travel over here to get in and amongst the New Zealand style of shearing sheep, where there's consistently a long season of, well, what is our season? It's a good 8 months of a season. Over in Scotland, really 6 weeks to 8 weeks. So to become really savvy at shearing and to skilled at it at this sort of level, you need to be shearing sheep. That's where it comes from. It is a pattern. You just got to keep on doing it, to keep on refining it. And he's here today representing Scotland. And of course there's a huge amount of Kiwis that go over to Scotland to help shear the sheep, as well as Wales, the UK in general, and Norway, all those places. So he's into the belly wall there. How are we getting on? How's that Brett Roberts going? He's got a 25 there. Who's the 24? That's Mouse O'Neill, Colin O'Neill. That's a good effort there at this stage. Willie Rinders a 33. Alan Grant, still the camera's on him. How's he going? He's got a 27 there, 27.6. Sheep on the board at this stage, number 5 there. Axel Reid, he's been around a long time. He's not happy with the old bog iron, what we'd call the bog iron, or the handpiece. He reckons the cuts went off. He pulls out his last and final one, lines it down. Been around a lot of sheds and shorn a lot of sheep, this Axel Reid. Gets down nice and close as the shorter people normally do to get in close. See the wriggling, this sheep wants to give him a hurry up. See the head doing its thing in the legs. This is not ideal. It's gonna take a lot of skill to settle this baby down. And I think he may have done it. Look at that. Tighten the tension knob down. You normally know if you fire those 2 big shots, which is called the undermine, right up the back there. If it's going to chew, or if it's going to start dragging, what you call dragging out on you, it'll do there, because you've got the thing full as full, and you find those huge big shots up the back of the undermine. Round he goes. There must be a bit of a race going on. I can hear John McBride on the mic out there just giving it heaps as the race is starting to get going. You won't see that just here as we're doing one at a time, but they do like to be first off. So the heats are getting quicker and quicker as we thought, as these ones that have been around these shows for a long time have entered a long time ago, and they have the privilege of watching these earlier heats before they come up. And that's Axel Reid from Taiapi. Well done, Axel. 30.14 at this stage, with probably that sheep to be judged out the back, which is a good score. One out the back. If he gets, if he gets, they're doing 6 sheep, so we've got 6, faults out there as an average. That's one point. So he might be doing all right, actually. Who we got here? Willie Ryan from Sheffield. Last shoulder there for him. Got the moccasins on. The moccasins, those little things there, they used to make them out of bags once upon a time. You buy them in a shop now. They're like little leather things. They give you a really good grip, and they also give you a very good understanding and presence of where your feet are, because it's essential to know where your feet are. So you've got control of those sheep, and you can sense when they're going to wriggle or jiggle, and you can also sense how much pressure you require, or how much pressure you've got against that sheep in certain areas, like the long blow and the last side and the likes. So once again, that's what the stadium looks like here in Masterton. Tonight we'll be announcing them and bringing them right down the middle there and up the steps in the middle, and we bring them all through the audience, so there's a lot of height, and they're under the bright lights. It was good to see all these people coming in, all the locals. There's of course a lot of shearers there looking as well as wool handlers, but a lot of family and a lot of local people from Masterton, and there'll be people that have driven from all around the place and flown from all around the place. This is the pinnacle, so there'll be people that there's Darren Ford down there waiting on his turn to have his go. Some of the shearers are already shorn here with the sweaty singlets that they've got on. Sponsor here is the Golden Shears. So there's some other sponsors there you can have a look at there. We've got Tui, got a Heinegger bottle out the back there. Should be saying those two maybe in the same sentence. What's that? The Wairarapa Times is there. I know AgriFert are sponsoring one of the events on sustainable agriculture and biologicals and the likes. The ASB have been involved here as well. We look around out there, Acto with Lister and all the gear, and these are the Lister machines that are up here on the wall, that are running absolutely smoothly all day yesterday. Will be running smoothly all day today as well as they do, and tomorrow for that matter. These brilliant Acto machines, and from there, for every shearer that is here, viewers, we've got at least 5 people that are around them as officials, as in judges on the board, judges out the back. We've got commentators like ourselves. We've got the committee, all these sorts of people. So all volunteers, and a lot of them have come a long way to be here, but they're absolutely proud to turn up here. And what's their goal? Well, their goal is to make sure that the Golden Shears continues to be the pinnacle, make sure the Golden Shears is better than last year. Just keep on refining it, keep on getting it as good as we can. It's such a special occasion, and it's not something you take for granted. When you turn up here or get invited here, it's a right honour, and it's a great thing to be part of the Golden Shears. We're good to go, Cora. We're still just working our way through here. So we're into the open store at this stage.
Okay, we'll come in then. I'm going to bring in the ambassador.
The ambassador.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Kick into this one, Bill, and these guys are going to react.
Yeah, we've got the American ambassador, Ambassador Mark.
technology. It's so great.
Well, good afternoon, Ambassador Mark Gilbert. It's nice to have you here in Masterton.
Great to be here.
For the 2015 Golden Shears, and look, it's you're a blessing. I'm saying you're a blessing because you brought a bit of rain with you. How's that?
It's very kind.
Oh, it's
Very
great.
kind, thank you.
Look, it's your first visit here, and America, of course, is a big country. You speak like an American, and we love having visitors here to share in this wonderful event, the 2015 Golden Shears. And let's tell us a little bit about where you come from and
So I come from...
your views on New Zealand.
Sure. I come from Florida in the United States, and today's my 6th week here in country. And when we found out about the competition that was going on here, which this is the world's premier Golden Shears competition, we decided we had to be here. Little did I know I was going to get the opportunity to shear a sheep myself.
Yeah. Well, that guy that you were on the stage with having a share of the sheep, that's Mr. Tom Wilson, and he loved New Zealand so much he's decided to make New Zealand his home. He has been a world champion shearer, so he's no slug, and you were in good hands when you were up there.
I was in really good hands. I was just worried about the sheep going back and telling the rest of her friends that this guy up there was shearing me and he wasn't too good. But it was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it.
Well, Ambassador, look, if you're here for this time next year, make this one of your appointment books, and we'd love to share some time with you. It's great if you could spend an evening with us. Friday night, Saturday night, this hall is humming. We've got 15,000 viewers online at that time, and they'd love to share some of your company.
Well, it was great to be here. It was really fun to see the competition.
Ambassador Mr. Mark Gilbert,
Thank you.
very much for spending some time.
Thank you for your
here in
time.
Masterton.
No, it's great to be here in Masterton.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sheep number 3 out for all the competitors. First off leg coming off for Bevan Holm down the far end. Tamandiania. He's been up in the Open a couple of years now, needs to start putting in some big ones to make that top 30. Into the long blow, he's starting to quicken the pace up. The Red Devil of a handpiece is starting to fire along. Casey Bailey, the local hope in the seat. Into the long blow he goes. Justin Ward had a good long look at his sheep when he was eyeing them up before we started. Has he selected the right ones to come up and midway through the job? He turns on to the last side now. Jimmy Evans just back off the pace, but he's an experienced campaigner. He'll be keeping the quality right for sure. It's Smith from Hastings out the last six. No, it's not. As Gisborne up here in the front. He snuck in ahead of that one, Bill.
Yeah, he snuck that one out pretty quick, did Tommy here on stand number 1. He brings out 4 onto the boards. Off comes the belly. He's having a share of his life there, this young fella on stand number 1. Over onto the back leg he goes. Casey Bailey and Doug Smith cheering virtually blow for blow. Doug pours in those big undermine blows there along with Tama, and up the neck they go. Nobody getting left far behind in this one. Absolutely flying into these sheep. Now then, Tama down into the front shoulder. Doug Smith right there with him though, nothing much in it. Casey Bailey right there as well. The boys are getting faster and faster. They're loving these sheep, really getting stuck into them. Open their shoulders and pouring those long blows in. Now is Tama here on stand.
Becoming, one of those people that gives back to the community of, going to a gala day and shearing a few sheep and showing some children about that at a pet day or whatever it might be. Those people that really start getting involved is more than just shearing sheep to become a master, and a bit like a Golden Shears winning ribbon, they don't give them away lightly either. There's a lot of discussion around being a master, so if you're one of those lucky ones, and there was, hey look, dare I say it, there was 2 put in there but well deserved, and one was Nathan Stratford, a mate of mine, and Tony Costa from Rakaya. So there were 2 new ones this year, but there's a few of them there, but they don't come easy. Dion King's another, Grant Smith's another, David Fagan of course is one as well. So yeah, like the points are going to be nice and low, and it's going to take a good shear to get through. But once again, there's 6 sheep, so it gives them time to get some rhythm and get into it.
Well, we just had the ambassador from America, based in New Zealand. He's only been here 6 weeks, Mr. Mark Gilbert. And wasn't it great to meet these guys?
Yeah, it's just terrific for them to turn up, isn't it?
Oh, I made the mistake of saying, "How you going, Mark?" And I said, "Oh, my apologies. I should have called him Ambassador." He said, "Don't worry about it. My name is Mark." He was a real American. Didn't have his cap on and everything, and he shore that sheep.
Yeah, I was wondering who that was sharing that sheep. He was very, very proud to do that, but he was proud to get in this room. He enjoyed the courtesy we've shown him, basically, of his importance, and had a good chat to him. And yeah, it's very, very good.
I'm going to go away and get us another guest.
Good. Well, I'll get this shearing underway. What's happening anyway? Undermine time for Jimmy Edmonds from Ratahi. Up the neck he'll go. Look at the sweat coming off them. It's hot in here. We've got a fan sitting in here, but it's hot up on stage too. They're on he's on the last one though. Be a bit of sweat starting to go. Here's a Douglas Smith. Yeah, he holds a world record, ladies and gentlemen. Now that you can lose a bit of sweat when you're doing them. You're running more than one marathon and those sorts of things when you do that. She's like 2 or so back to back. It's real Iron Man sort of stuff. Round the back of the ears he goes. Smith from Hastings lines up with 2.5 wee shots. He cleared that shoulder. Beautiful. Throws the leg over and locks it up now. Up into the base of the ear he goes, flicks that round with the handpiece. Now on the journey home onto that last shoulder. This is commonly known as the money side. Away he goes, working the left hand as they all have to. And these boys know how to do that. They bring the sheep to them. They'll get the left hand working now. He puts it in there. See the leg starting to roll towards him. Saves him having to step back. Bang, bang, bang. Just puts more weight and the hips starts rolling over. And that's the finishing touches. The hand pieces are disengaged. And they stand up for a breather. They won't leave the stage, ladies and gentlemen. They'll just stay there as a mark of respect so they don't upset. The shearers still shearing around them. There's 3 facets to all this. There's the time of 1 point every 20 seconds. It stays like that at every show throughout New Zealand, all day long, every event. That's just a standard time thing. Of 1 point every 20 seconds. Then you got on the board points. That's these referees that are dotted around here that are all volunteers. Oh, that's a feisty little sheep, that one. He's got plenty of life in it. Just put the foot on the head lightly to get control of it. Done that. Now out the door. On the second hand piece already. First one's sitting still to the side there that he used. What was I saying there? So yeah, on the board second cuts, that's divided by the number of sheep, whether you're a junior only shearing 2 in a heat, or a novice shearing 1 in a heat, to the open boys shearing 20. So in that case what happens is, of course, time becomes more important, because if you're shearing 20 sheep, every second cut is 1/20th of a point. So then time becomes more of an issue of being able to win the event. Job's still very important, but that's how it works. And that's how the points work on the board, and that's how they work outside as well. Okay, they're divided by the number of sheep. So if you've only got 2 sheep, as a junior would have, your job, you need to make sure you get every little speck off there, because every time that on-board ref pushes that button, that's half a point. Okay, but in a 20 sheep final, that's 1/20th of a point. It takes 20 of those to make 1 point. So yeah, I hope that's sort of clarified a wee bit of that stuff for an understanding there of what's happening points wise, why the judges up there and all those sorts of things, and why are they racing each other. Well, they race each other for a couple of reasons. 1, because they want to be first off, and 2, because that's just how it is. They get involved in the show, and off they go. They start thinking, he's a wee bit ahead of me and I want to be first off, to stamp my sort of mark on this Golden Shears. So it's all good. Still people arriving not far away from kick-off here. They're just having a quick look at their sheep, which they are entitled to do. Make sure there's no disadvantages there, which there shouldn't be. Presentation's phenomenal. Drafting has been terrific. There's PGG Wrightson's down there getting some airtime, which is good. Of course, not hard to support them. Involved in a whole lot of, basically everything to do with rural stuff. They are involved there. from buying and selling stock to merchandise to real estate. Yeah, they've got all sorts of things going on, PGG, one of the big players in the rural industry that way. Then we've got this thing that they're Trust House Community Enterprise, so they've been sponsoring the Golden Shears here and are the major sponsor of one of the lower grades. Well, there we go, we're back over here. Where are we? Colin Hollier from Tiaku. Belly clear, up the back. Belly has to be thrown clear, but not as a distraction to any other shearer or interfering with any other shearer. So normally it's chucked out the back. It's sort of an easy way, it doesn't get tangled up. And when you're going up to this stage here, as Cole is, and up the neck he goes. The neck will break open eventually, just as he's driving in and around there. There it goes now, it falls away. So he didn't worry about actually, making an intentional break, but it fell away anyway. Now he swings round to the world-renowned long blow, fires those two little ones in there, and then away on the big ones, goes back to tidy up a couple of little things, rolls that head round, and starts heading for home. Onto the last shoulder, left hand working hard, grabbing that skin, tightening the skin, bringing the sheep towards you. Running time there, he can't quite see the time. We'll have to get a stopwatch for you. It's out of the way. There we go, running time 1 minute 15 seconds. That's very good. So, Noel Gardner, Masterton, the local boy, he be used to shearing these Wairarapa sheep into the belly. Well, he flicks it out the back. He's making a good job. He went where the crutches have been. You see him go in inside those legs. That's what the crutches do, but he thought just in case the old judge at the back gets a wee bit distracted, and he went in there and took it off anyway. Sometimes it's just when you're shearing sheep all life, it just becomes so subconscious and so patternized that you go there anyway. You think I don't need to go there, but this is what I do, so I go there, and that way naturally my feet will end up where they need to end up, and naturally the sheep will end up where it needs to end up. Hence that why Gardner has done that, this local boy. So he'll be getting a little bit of encouragement from the audience down there. There's a few people starting to roll in. We've got a big sort of afternoon here. Then we're into tea, and then the suits and waistcoats come out and the ties, and bright lights and glitz and glamour, and we really start heightening it up. We're starting to come to the business end, ladies and gentlemen of the Golden Shears. We've toiled away. We started on Thursday, of course. It's a 3-day show here at the Golden Shears. We started on Thursday with a lot of wool handling and some of the lower grades, and of course the pressing as well. And we'll work through a lot of the lower grades up to really up to a final stage now with a lot of them. Not so much the senior, but we've had a couple of novice finals in the wool handling, and one of them went to wool handling and shearing. They're both done, and one of them went to a Scottish lass, I think. So the trophies aren't secured or bolted down here in New Zealand. We lost two last year to a couple of Welsh shearers in the lower grades where they showed the Kiwis how it was done, and we've already lost one here. So the Kiwis need to be on their toes. We need to be making sure we keep all these international visitors, which we're very pleased to see. Keep them honest and keep lifting our game. Round the fertiliser works. Edmonds from Rahiti, another Edmonds. Big shearing family, these Edmonds. Up the neck he goes. Breaks it clear so you can see what's going on. Beautiful sheep. I'm just happy enough though, because of the length of this wool just really does suit us southerners. There's a good staple wool there, so it's going to be within reason the closest thing we can get to full wool in a second shear environment, so it suits us really well. You can see how it's still holding to a bit of a fleece there, whereas that shorter stuff would naturally just fall away. So yeah, we can, as southerners that are really used to this sort of stuff, we can make real good use of this. Like Chas Tauriki you've already seen, and Stratty's still to come, and so's the legendary Darren Ford from Oropoki Tuatapere way down in the deep south. Talking about down the deep south, Corey Palmer from Dipton. Corey's in a open gang down there. Okay, does a really good job, so he does. Open gang, what does that mean? Well, that means the farmer will put the sheep in the shed and get it organised. The farmer, how's he going? Corey Palmer, 18.6, 1.5, he's in the in amongst it, which is good. So the open means, yeah, and the farmer's wife will feed you all the smokos and lunch. You normally go into the house for lunch, and the farmer will have a penner upper and all those sorts of things, and he'll press the wall and do all that sort of stuff. And you've just got to get to the shed and you do your own ACC, everything along those lines. So that's known as an open gang. And normally most people would say at the show level, this level here, they're always very clean because they know the farmer and all those sorts of things, and they're always very, very clean shearers, just like Corey Palmer here makes a very clean job. Bang, done job. Yeah, so you've just got to get yourself to work, and then everything's taken care of from there. But yeah, what I was saying, a lot of times I would say that actually to start mixing in this sort of level, you cannot pull it off through an open gang. You really need to get some exposure and start mixing and mingling with some really fast shearers out in these big contract runs around the place. But yeah, there's been a few that have achieved a whole lot. This is Jock Barrett of Gisborne, and he's got he's got total points of 25.8 at this stage. But no, there has been a few open shearers that have managed to develop good quick speed. Their job's always there, and start mixing it in here. And Palmer would be one of them, and we're thinking of another one down south, Andy Mainland from down south. He's another one that has managed to achieve that, and he's made open finals and the likes. Still shearing out of an open gang locally down in Invercargill. Tyson Hemi. Beautiful style, isn't it? Just rattling that wool off. There we go. How's that Tyson getting on? He's a 29 point there. The last and final sheep arrives for him. He's firing those shots in there. Look at that. He's driving that handpiece. Cleans up the brisket. See him do a couple shots in there, viewers. He's got that out of the way. Now the left hand just in time out of the way. Hey, look. Is it always that good? No, there's lots of shearers lose the very, very tip of their finger. I don't mean cut it off, they just take the very tip of their finger off. Okay, very frustrating because lanolin, that sort of greasy stuff in the wool, stings like Jolly-O when you got a cut. And what you do then is just stick a little bit of glue on it, okay? And that will then sort of seal it up while you're still shearing, otherwise it annoys you all day as it stings. And away he goes. Tyson, leg over, locks it up, sheep 6. Noel Gardner's been there and done that and in for the stopwatch. Squash the head down, Gardner does as he should. It saves the blow if you squish it down there. Legs over the back, he's going to start shuffling home and really working that left hand. Look at Edmonds, got a bit of a jiggly, he's just out of the picture right at the moment. She's given him a bit of a hurry up, wants to do a little bit of dancing around the place. Now he's got her under control. Delicate little area right here. He's got to use that elbow to control the head once again. That's where it all lies. As Palmer is wrapped up as well, 38.1. He'll be happy enough with that at this stage. As long as the last sheep he's put down is okay, it's the only thing to be judged. Onto the last shoulder. Edmonds firing the shots in. Does a bit of plucking. Now on the money side. Look at those fleeces. That's a beautiful fleece of wool coming off her. Out to the toenail he goes. Lovely. Judges swapping round as they should. What actually happens here, folks, is the judges do a full circle around the event. You'll see the judges, they go from stand 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6. They go down those steps, they come right round, and then they'll come up to stand 1 again, and they'll do a full circuit during that heat. And that again is just to make sure that there's no, we've got it as even as we possibly can. All the judges go to courses to make sure they're all even. They always do a practice sheep on the day and in the morning to make sure everyone's on the same page with a chief referee. And then they circulate around. Now there is a man there, Darren Ford, and that's just to make sure that there is, just that margin of error is taken out, so you're not judged by one judge that might have a slightly different view. on a second cut or the likes than another. So there's a lot of work goes into making sure that these shows are up to speed. What are they all about? Well, there's you know, the prestige and honour and all the stuff that way, the cash and sash time. But also there is the you know, industry as a whole. It gives all the shearers that go to any show, they get to see all the points. Okay, we've got the time again, we've got on the board, we've got out the back. They can see those points and look at them and think, okay, my job, bit of self-critical sort of stuff, my job is not up to speed. So in that case, I'm going to go back to the shed and I'm going to lift this job, which then of course is a better job for the farmer, better job for the sheep itself. Okay, if there was you know, you had a habit of cutting them or your gear was a wee bit sharp or whatever it might be, or scratching them, and then yeah, that lifts the whole industry up as far as quality goes. Wool, of course, renewable fibre. I've spoken about sustainability before now, and wool is very sustainable. It's a renewable fibre, it's a living fibre. Okay, it's absolutely brilliant. It's a brilliant insulator here. It has a huge amount of uses. However, it can battle at times on the market with processed plastics and all these sorts of things. So you've got to support that market. You've got to make sure that you, when you are buying your jersey or your jumper or whatever it might be, that you make a concerted effort to buy the woolen one. It might cost a wee bit more, but you're going to be supporting your very own industry. So a little bit there about that. Right, we're on sheep 1, Ian Kirkpatrick from Gisborne. Now the Kirkpatrick family, another very big family of shearers. It's funny how shearing gets in the blood of a family, and everyone gets involved. Okay, Kirkpatrick families like that, where all the brothers and mum and dad are probably in the sheds, and then all the sons and daughters the sons start shearing, and all the daughters start wool handling, and becomes a product of their own environment really, where that's what they know, and it gets into them, and that's what they want to do. Shannon Warnest, well, he's representing Australia once again here. We'll see him tomorrow. A super shearer, been the world champion twice. A big strong fella. He could be playing rugby. He's a big strong fella. I think he's represented Australia a number of times. He's into double figures. I think he's up around about 10. Absolutely phenomenal to watch on the Wrinklies, okay, the Merinos. However, his skill is really, you know, good on lambs and second shear. A lot of people will enjoy this. This is Tumo Mullins. He's you know, Coro's son. You've heard Coro on this here. It's Coro's son and Coro Mavis, and he's shearing here. He a few years back he won the New Zealand Tikawiti Shears as a senior, and that's his claim to glory. But of course he's a very good announcer and commentator, and he's got $1 million smile, so he's got a very likeable sort of nature that comes across very well on a microphone during presentations and announcements and the likes. So this is Tumo Mullins. Away he goes on the long blow. He's into this. He'll be enjoying this. He'll be thinking, whoa, look at this. I'm up here now. Wonder what the commentators are saying. That's what he'll be thinking. Down onto the last shoulder he goes. Here we hope he's going to get some good texts saying, Tumo, you left a bit on that last shoulder. There he goes, on the journey home. Working the left hand, just rolled that little bit of wool over out of the way, and just waited till the handpiece arose, and then just let it go just in time to catch it with the cutter. Beautiful. Sheep 2 out of the way. Tumo, he's going to work a sweat up, I'm sure of it. We get some good comments here. Pulls out a little beauty, sits it down nice and low. Tumo's not a big tall fella, so normally they will lie when they're doing the belly, they'll lie them back like that. They lie them flat. Okay. All the blows are the same, but you just got to adapt to your own. You know, if you've got a big long arm, you can adapt to that. You've got a shorter, you know, wheelbase like Tumo. You've got to adapt to that. As he fires 1.5 good shots up the undermine there, he thinks, hey, this is a little wee second shear. I'll shear it like a lamb, and he hooks into it. 1.5 up the undermine. Lambs, you just bang 1 up there, and you can get right over there. So Tumo thought, oh, I'll go halfway. I'll put 1.5 in. Around he goes towards the long blow. 1, 2 wee short ones. We'll get another view on it. He'll be loving this. He loves the limelight tumour. Great friendly sort of chap. Brushes the air clean. Fires one shot on the cheek and thinks that's enough. She's a nice open sheep this. Now he's onto that last shoulder. Under the watchful eye of the judge. Nice straight back from Tumu. Gives it a wee flick with the knees, and that's a good idea. Sometimes you get a bit of a jiggle going on there. You just give it that little wee jiggle with your knees. It gives it something else to think about. It normally rolls into place as it has. Beautiful last side. Just nailed that baby. Local boy will just move down the track. Local boy on stand 4. Chris Mills, Masterton. How's he going upstairs there? 7. He's going well. How's Tumu going? Tumu's got a 19. So he needs a couple of good ones to finish on. He's still got half a pen to shear though, so anything can happen from here. He might have had a tough one. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt at the moment. Chris Mills, 18.1, doing a super job, and he's put a super one out just right there. Sheep 3, been there and done that. If he continues at this rate, you're going to get another look at him. Great seeing these locals make these semis and finals and the likes, because it gets all the crowd down here. It gets the crowd being noisy, getting in vocal and getting in behind them all. Just great stuff. I'm just doing 2.5 shots down to that under mine, and he's banged. He's a big strong sheep. You see that there, viewers? Big strong sheep. So he fired 3 big ones up there to make sure that last side. Look at the wool on them. By jolly, I'm happy about this. These southern boys, they be loving this sort of thing. They'll be right amongst it. Let's hope these sheep will be a wee bit biased. These sheep are the same all the way through. It's going to suit us. It's going to be like a home ground to us southerners. Round he goes there, Mills to the long blow. Fires it in. Down to one more. Lackey Baines, Wairarapa. Baines working a sweater, a youngster. There he goes. He's got a good style though. He'll be enjoying this up here, this young fella. Baines, look at the size of those big hands. Pulls the wool. 1. Wow, those huge big shots he's firing in there. Up and over the back of the head. He went right over the head, right down the back of its neck. The neck breaks clear. He's got a good view now round the back of the ears he heads. Heading towards the long blow once again. Poetry in motion. 1, 2 wee ones. Now he's away on the big ones. Throws a leg over and locks her up. Now this is the man who will be enjoying this. Darren Ford. He'll be pleased. These are got long wool on them. Darren Ford, he's a master on these full wool sheep. And I know these aren't full wool, but they're just sort of a half in between a second shear and a full wool. He just gets that big arm of his going. He's a powerful man. He has a strong constitution and a heart of an ox. By jolly, look at that, half a cut up, just up, took half the top knot off, fires those shots in, held the world record on strong full-wooled ewes, this Darren Ford, for over 10 years at 720. A few people had a go at it and couldn't get it, but it was broken a couple of years ago by Rodney Sutton, who done 721. Okay, that's how tight it is. So he's a tough boy, this Darren Ford. Runs a contract business now down there just out of Invercargill. Runs a really good ship. So he does have a few distractions these days. But here he is. He'll have the phone turned off. It's time to get the job done. It's time to get in the zone, to flick in real quickly. He's been on the stage in semi-finals and finals a number of times. It's not new ground to Darren Ford. I can tell you that. He puts out a little perler. A big, whoa, he's finished at sheep 6. Wrapped up. We only just got going on the man. There's just so much to talk about with him. So a big hi to everyone down in southern ground there that are watching, seeing how your mate Darren Ford and all your other people from down that way are going. From Big Chaz to Darren to Stratty to Troy Piper. So yeah, look, big hello to you guys down there. Hope things are well. A wee bit of rain up here. So the farmers are happy, and I think you're getting rain down there, believe it or not, even though we're normally summer safe down there on the coast, it's probably the driest it's been for quite a while. So I see the TV saying it's supposed to be raining down there, so I hope we're getting a bit more rain as a farmer, and that'll be good too. But yeah, a big hello to you all, and a big hello to all you viewers all around the world. Here we go, it's another heat out of the way. Some super shearers. We've got to get this down to the top 30 somehow. We used to, we had it a week early, but it's amazing what revolves around the Golden Shears. We had a Gorge Road, which is just our little sort of community centre, Gorge Road Country Club, where we go down to chat about farming and have a quiet beer and a meal and the likes at the bistro. And we normally always have it on the Golden Shears weekend, where we have a fun night where you've got to drink a glass of beer and eat a wheat bick and shear a sheep, and the machine's run by a winder or someone on a bike's driving the machine, and we have a wool handler and we have prizes and all those sorts of things. So we used to coincide all that with the Golden Shears, but this year, just for one reason or another, we run it a week early, which is all good for myself anyway, to go down there at MC and JJ Kringle, who you saw in the Veterans, who's always on the red flag, and he's the referee for the day, and the green flag to say yes, the quality is good enough to be counted as a time. And so it's a really good fun night out, and we would normally then live stream it at night while we're having a beer and all that's wrapped up in all these big finals. So there's a lot of things sort of coincide with the Golden Shears. It is well known all around New Zealand and all around the world. There's lots of New Zealand titles up for grabs, and there's the the Great Highland Show up in Scotland and all these sorts of things. But yeah, for some reason, whatever it might be, the Golden Shears is the pinnacle, whether you're a wool handler or a shearer. So it's just super. So don't go too far, ladies and gentlemen. There's plenty more great shearers to come yet. We've got a couple of Fagans still to arrive. We've got Dion King still to arrive, Tony Costa to arrive, Grant Smith still to arrive. So plenty of action, great crowd starting to arrive, and it's just all good. It's all good. Take note if you can, just have a look around again, just at any sponsors you can see out there, any of those banners up, because they're the ones that are sponsoring the show. Be sure if you're a local, even surrounding districts, that you put the effort in to come along and support this show. If some of these judges and officials around the place can hop on a plane and fly all the way from deep south or the top of the North Island to get here, they're putting in a real special effort. So it'd be good to see the surrounding districts also to get in here and grab a seat. Here's another man from down my way, and support this show, Troy Piper. Now he could be a dark horse, this Troy Piper. He's been really good senior shearer through the ranks here. Went to Aussie for a couple of years when he was at the top of the senior. Just been back for a year, just starting to get back into these crossbreds. Now he's starting to open finals. He's just arriving out of the scene. Okay, he's made this PGG Wrightson's top 12 to have the big shear off. He is hungry, he's full of power and determination, and he's ready for action. He was, he thinks it's his time now to make the most of this. And here he is at the Golden Shears, and he's just banging that wool off. Ladies and gentlemen, and all you people from down south, you'll be wrapped for that first one. Wow, he nailed that, absolutely nailed it. And it was very quickly shorn and very cleanly shorn. Pulls out another little beauty, sits it well back. Lee Edmonds, another one of these Edmonds boys from Masterton. Locals. Got the red handpiece sitting there waiting on to go. You'll be thinking, Troy, what are you on, mate? You're pumping that one out. At this stage, Troy Piper will be on the long blow. I don't have that pleasure just right at the moment to tell you how it's getting on that way. But it's Edmonds right now, firing those shots in, trying to open this one up. You've got to do all that work round there, around those points and corners. Okay, once you've got all that done, what you'd call, you open it up. Once you get inside and into the body of the sheep, you can get into it. And that's what Edmonds is trying to do at the moment, is get all these areas here opened up, which is not far away. Then he's inside the sheep, and he can start hoeing into it. Round he goes there, setting it down, he's having a wee glance. What's that? Troy Piper up, we can see the sheep there, he's onto the last side. If you have that shoulder at that stage of the point there, he flicks the leg over now. Oh, you southerners, you'll be wrapped with that. You've just seen the mighty Darren Ford. Now you've got Troy Piper. Now, one of these other great shearers, Tony Costa from Rakaya. Look at him go. He's Inky Pinky Costa, it is. He puts out a pearl of job. He's one of these shearers that's actually been named or managed to get himself into the Hall of Fame as a master shearer this year. Him and Nathan Stratford. Okay, he can shear all breeds. He's a phenomenal shearer, Tony Costa, and he just makes them as clean as clean. See the left hand working, just so you can see where he's going. He makes them super clean. Wins a lot of shows, makes a huge amount of finals. Absolutely phenomenal amount of finals. And he pulls a few of them off. By jolly he does. Real nice guy. Very, very polite. Runs a bit of a courier business at the same time as his shearing, and in the off season where it's a bit slower, he has a couple sort of jobs on the go. But at the moment, he's like some of these other people. All that other stuff has just got to wait. It's not a matter of holding the phone, it's a matter of turning it off at the moment. I've got a job to do. And I'm on halfway through it at sheet 3. Tony Costa. The judges are doing that swap that I've told you about. Costa's on the journey home now. Right out to the toenail he goes. Pete Chilcott from Hastings. He's hanging in there with Costa, says, I'm going to come with you, mate. I'm going to draft you. And so he is, with about 2 or 3 shots behind Costa. The Hastings boy. It wants to do a bit of wriggling, keep hold of that flank with the left hand, and yes, that was it. Grab hold of that skin, and he does so. Out to the toenail as he goes. It's a little beauty. He handled that one round. Get in there, Pete. Grab another one. Adam Brash from Dannyburg. Now, he's made a lot of finals all through the grades, Adam Brash. Been around a long time. Well, he's in the premier grade now. So he's got to be on his A game. Got to bring the A game here. Top knots off. Up the neck he goes. All you people in Dannyburg, you'll be watching this. There'll be a lot of people watching this. I don't know how many there is, but there'll be a stack of people just watching this open final as it would be. The joys of technology today. You can it's just like being at it live in a way. You don't quite have the atmosphere, but you get to see what they're up to. The racing side, you've got to visualise, they've got a race going on there as well. Brash, he's not going to get tangled up in that. Look at that, he goes back for a little bit on the brisket, tidies all that up, puts in those little wee shots. He says we need a good job too, Gerald Spain, don't forget about that. Right out to the toenail he goes too. Judge is doing another changeover. All the way from Dannyburg. Oh, that's that long wool. Just getting caught up over there. Oh, us Southerners, you've got to put that big undermine in. He's got it the way, just didn't want to roll over from that one. Murray Henderson. Now, he's getting all these votes that he's going to win this baby this year. We've got these votes going on. Who's going to win the open final? And he's getting votes galore. He's away out the front. If he was votes for like being Prime Minister, he's going to win this baby because he's got way more votes than anyone else. I think he's got a couple hundred odd, and the next man's probably about 30. So Murray Henderson, someone's been busy out there as he drifts round. Oh, look at that. Just beautiful style, beautiful style. You can see that sort of that yellowness in that fleece. That's that lanolin, but it's coming off okay. See how it's nice and loose there, ladies and gentlemen. It's falling away. He's combing it well. It wants to do, they're big, powerful ewes these, right out to the toenails. Sponsor here is the Golden Shears Committee themselves. They sponsor this event. It's a premier event. Bang. Been there, done that. One left standing in the pen, and it's arrived out now. Is it going to behave itself for Henderson? Up with the leg, settles it down. Look, you can see the fire in her eye. She's thinking, what's going on? Murray Henderson says, I'll tell you what, you just sit there for a minute and a half, you won't know anything about it. She'll be wrapped up, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. 1, 2 big shots up the back, off with the top knot, up and over, gets that left hand down there, fires another shot in, into the base of the ear. I know there's a big race going on out there, I can hear it with my other ear. Look at that. The boys are getting into it. The crowd's starting to get into it too, ladies and gentlemen. That's the only part you're missing. Oh, this atmosphere. There's a big race going on. It's a young Troy Piper all the way from Invercargill at Winton there. Pinged that one off. Put it on the field. Said, I'm here, fellas. I'm back from Aussie. Man, he's put half a sheep on some of these lads. And that's not easy to do. Henderson. Here we the next man in for the red button. Beautiful, good camera shot. Tony Costa will be the next one. Brash throwing the leg over, locking that one up. Way he goes too, turns to the last side. Chilcott, finishing touches there. Sheep 6 on the board for him too. Going for the top 30. The top 30 is hard to make here. It's the first question you ask someone that have been to the Golden Shears and they share in the Open. You make the top 30. If you make that, you've done well. Brash. Knee on the head. One shot, darling. In for the red button. Then I'll put it down the hole. Every second counts in this sort of level. What a super final that one was. Super final. So we've got a good day here, folks. We had a wee bit of rain there before, but in general, yesterday was an absolute stifler. Even in local terms, I think it was 30-something degrees. So for a southerner like myself, it was a real hot day. And today's a wee bit cooler, a bit of a breeze out there, but ideal for shearing sheep. And you can feel the atmosphere starting to arrive to the Masterton township. All the car parks are full. The seats are starting to get filled up. So cheap seats left. And of course tonight we'll be down to the top 30. It doesn't take us long. All those points are getting accumulated as we go. So it's not like the old days of pen and paper and all these bits of paper out the back, and there's a couple, 3 men out the back are either in the caravan, you know, crunching figures and working it all out, and we've got a 20-minute wait. Oh no, not nowadays. We're into instant prize giving, where within 2 minutes we can have the winner. We know who the winner is. We know 2nd, 3rd and 4th and 5th. Just like that, it's just bang. So technology that way's been fantastic. Right, we've got our next 6 up there. Just having a quick inspection of their pens, and we'll be underway, back into it. Here's a man, Toomer's looking in the window at me saying, "How did I go?" "You went quite well, Toomer." We give you a bit of fun on the TV here. We know there's going to be a lot of texts coming in. We reckon you've done a couple of second cuts on the last shoulder of that second one, but otherwise you went really well. Did you work a bit of sweat up, Toomer?
I did. Oh yeah.
Good. Well,
Whew, thanks.
oh, there's a lot of action up there, mate.
Oh, it's hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us, how are the sheep? Are they good or? Go on, huh?
They're a little bit dry, some of them. The first comb I had on was probably a little bit too round, and so I was sort of riding out of the wool, and so I changed on to a bit thinner one, and it went a lot better, but because I haven't shorn for a while, my hand's a bit heavy.
Yeah.
Sort of got caught up in a bit of skin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not too much, so nothing drastic.
No, we didn't see it here. Look, the worst we saw was that maybe a second cut on the last shoulder.
Yeah.
I could feel the viewers at home. They were right in behind you. We're having a bit of fun with it. So I said, "Here's one of our commentators up. What's the story?" It doesn't take much to get sacked at the Golden Shears. You make a couple of backups on the mic, and that's it. You're out of here, bro. Back on the stand.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Bit like a shearer, you know, a presser trying to become a shearer. You know, he cuts one. No, you're back on the press. Stay there for another couple of weeks.
Yeah, sure is.
Yeah. Well, talking about stuff, you look at Dion King here. We've had some tremendous shearers up there as well as yourself, Tim, which is brilliant. Dion King, of course, you know, world record holder on lambs. What is it? 866 did he do in a 9-hour day, or something along those lines, wasn't it? Not that you can take it for granted. Each one is a well-earned lamb when you're shearing for that long, you know, and that hard. So Dion King, master shearer, been in the final here before.
He has.
Won here before. A fair bit going for him. Big, strong fella, isn't he? Look at the power in the body. Just brilliant. The last man that was on this front stand here, Troy Piper, sure like a Trojan. Absolutely. He just smells those. A good pen or otherwise, I don't know, but he just really went for it.
Well, I tell you what, that Troy Piper, you know, he's been an instructor for a little while as well. You know, he's been shearing for probably 15 years, you know, at least, and he knows his way around these sheep. He's travelled the world, you know. I know that he's definitely been to Aussie quite a few times, and I'd say that he would have been to the UK as well. You know, he's well travelled, and he's sort of, if you want to be a competitive shearer, you've got to get out of the country. You know, actually for starters, you've got to get out of your own hometown. You know, a lot of shearers, they think that their hometown is the only place in the world, but you know, there's sheep everywhere around the world. You know, so and doing these shows is where you get recognised. Like the first time I went to the UK, a shearing contractor was shearing here. He saw me shearing, and he came up to me and he asked me if I wanted a job in the UK, and that's how it sort of starts. You know, so that's the beauty of these competitions.
Yeah, it is, yeah. And it's a good yardstick, isn't it, against your mates and that?
Yeah.
And it's a good weekend out, you know.
Sure is.
You know, it's a changed environment now, but yeah, there were some really big days that used to happen down home. A lot of the shows, the Waikaka shows and the Mossburn show and the likes, there are big social occasions where we all caught up for the weekend and we've done a hard week or 2 weeks and we're into it here. Leon Samuels from Invercargill here, ladies and gentlemen, it'll be sheep 3 he's getting into. Leon Samuels, he's got tremendous rhythm in this boy. He would be a man that really likes his music during the day, I'd say, where he goes with the sound of the music, because as long as he can get his rhythm going and his flow, he's unstoppable. Made a lot of finals the last couple of years actually, and some of the smaller ones he's managed to pull off, but as long as he gets that rhythm going and things are going his way, oh yeah, quite unstoppable. Real young fella, up and coming now, and just starting to touch on it, which is brilliant. But great rhythm, as you'll see him here. He hasn't got warmed up. You can see him working away. This is Hugh's going to keep him honest too. So he works around towards the long bloke. That's another shot of him just here. Away he goes now. You can see the concentration on his face. He hasn't got that rhythm going yet, and he can't with a sheep like this. But here he goes. He would have forgotten about that bit as you do as a shearer and say, right, let's move on from that. Flicks that little bit of wool off the face and onto the shoulder. So, yeah, lots of racing going on out there too, I can tell. Even though it's the heats, I can hear John McBride and Bull on the mic, and I don't have the pleasure here in this room, but I know there's a race on out there somewhere.
Yeah, well, I was trying to catch that bloody Aussie bugger, Shannon Warness, and I couldn't. So no doubt I'll hear about that for the next 2 days. Yeah. He's a great guy, Shannon. All those Aussie guys, they're great guys. They're over here, I think Shannon's been over here probably 10 plus times, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Shannon Warners,
and
so he's sort of one of the whānau, really, I suppose you could say, for the Golden Shears. Yeah, great guy, but he'll let me know all about it. He'll tell me how if he'll probably say to me, oh, did you want me to wait for you, or something cheeky like that.
Yeah,
that's how it rolls in the shearing game.
he represents Australia well, doesn't he? But there's another one in here, on this heat here, I think, is that Damien Boyle, which is about stand 2, I think, as we're having a yarn about one thing or another. But yeah, Shannon, he's a good man that way. A lot of great shearers, but great athletes, but great citizens in a way. They're good people that just get the job done. Here's Neil Perry from Greytown. Then we've got Neil's been there and done that. And the
who's this old boy?
Sung onto the fella here, a young fella here that's 53 years young. Forrest 2 up the back. The David Fagan, you've been throwing a bit of money at the TAB yet, haven't you?
No, not yet.
You haven't done that.
Well, I was waiting to see if I got through, and then I'd go and put a bet on myself.
Yeah, right, mate. Yeah, good. We want that. Of course, a lot of hype this year with the swan song of David Fagan. Really, he's finished in the South Island. It's been and done. So if you haven't seen David in action, it's gone for the Southerners. We've got here today. We've got the Tikawiti show where it's going to be his big wrap up. A lot of focus going on around it, whether he can pull this off. He's been in a lot of finals this year, about 15. I think he's won about 8 or 9 of them. South Island Shearer of the Year at Southern Shears down in Gore. Won the Open event as well. Knows these sheep inside and out, of course.
Yeah.
If he wins this Open, which he may, I think the officials or the powers to be in New Zealand as a whole, for what he's done for New Zealand in sports and how he's carried the New Zealand flag and the commitment he's had to New Zealand, there has to be some recognition of some sort. I don't know, Tim, that's how I see it. He's been a phenomenal man for shearing as a whole, really.
Oh, he certainly has. He's a great ambassador for shearing. He's got the New Zealand Fagan pants on.
Yeah.
I think that's from the World Champs when it was held in Wales. I think when Mavis Mullins was the manager, I think she got those pants made up.
Oh yeah, good. I see you'd be quite happy because I see the Hyundai Sunday Fay that's out there that's up for grabs for the year. There's got a picture of Tony Costa on there, and he's actually wearing Fagan pants. And if you have a look, the label's quite distinctive on there, so Dave will be very pleased about that. The Fagan name travelling around Ricaya for a year when they get the free car. Well, here's Jack Fagan. He's the youngster, the son of David. And he's no slug. Of course, he's under a watchful eye all the time.
Sure is.
David's going to finish up and he'll start cutting his own track. Not to say that he hasn't already. He does very well in some. He makes some big finals.
He does.
Does quite well in a lot of speed shears. Around the place, young Jack. Big set of shoes to fill, of course. Shearing with a father like that. But he's coped with it well enough. He's doing his own thing. As he hits the low, this is the last sheep here. You can hear the commentary really revving up down there. So Jack's on his last one here. Pen points or total points of 30 at this stage. So lots of action. It's great. We're going to be down at the top 30 tonight.
Yep.
And
I can't wait.
No, you're right. You can't wait. Funny enough, you get excited when you go to the shear, but it doesn't matter what part you play in the Golden Shears. You get excited whether you're on the microphone or you're shearing or what
right.
you're doing.
It's
Phil O'Shaughnessy. Now talking about people that have been around the Golden Shears. Now he won't get nervous at all for anything. We've got all the pairs to be in here. We've got Phil O'Shaughnessy's arrived. Kieran McNulty's arrived. The TAB man. How are the bets going, Kieran? We're getting some more big ones getting on.
Big money coming on now.
Is that right? This man, he's got a big wallet, you're saying. He's going to bump if we put it on.
Right, how much you want? I'm such a comedian.
So it's all good. So Kieran McNulty's arrived from the TAB and Phil O'Shaughnessy. Phil, would you like to do a bit of live streaming? Yep. Phil's been in the game here at the Golden Shears. Here, you can stay here too. You're good to go. Phil's been at the Golden Shears commentating here for, we'll just say a lot of years, Phil, haven't you, really?
Yeah, that's right.
Is this a new game for you, the so-called brand? So this is an innovation for you?
Yeah, so it is, it is a bit,
Yeah. Quite exciting, really. You've got all the points up, and right at the moment we'll be getting viewed outside on the big screen and viewed to people around the world. Big welcome to you. You deserve a seat in all the years that you've put into commentating from the Bluff to Kaitaia and all the big shows and all, not just commentating, all the presentations you've done and all the affiliating you've done all around these shows.
Yeah, it has been a bit of a long time, but it's also a pleasure to come back and just sit and watch somebody else do it or get sore throats and headaches, so forth. Not being able to join in for a beer or whatever else. So it is quite good. I've stayed away for a couple of years, but this year I thought, no, I've got to come and have a look. And particularly as we see, it's going to be David Hagan's last year. It's probably called, well, I don't know how many finals that he's been in, and a lot here that he's won, and all around the world. In fact, at several world championships that I've been to. So, it's been a great time.
Well, staying on that topic, Phil, of course, David and Jack are up here, but we were discussing David and you haven't got enough time to talk about everything he's done because it's not long enough. The heat's not long enough to do it. But he's got a string of accolades behind him. And if he pulls off something big from here, me and Tim were talking about it. The powers to be in New Zealand that look at sports people around New Zealand, I think he deserves further accolades and recognition, really, for what he's done for New Zealand shearing, the backbone of the rural industry in New Zealand. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of all this. I don't know what your opinion is. This is just my personal opinion, Phil.
I think we do have to be careful now when we talk about agriculture as the backbone of the country. It still is a huge part and forms a big integral part of that backbone, if you like. Once upon a time, dairying and wool in particular was huge, massive. Probably most of our only two exports along with timber. But nowadays, I worked at the refinery for a long time, and some of those days when you did a 6,000 tonne tank of jet fuel, it was worth more than all the wool put together. So, there's all sorts of things going on now, and a lot of our IT people going overseas, our computer people, it's amazing. However, one of the things we can do and do well is agriculture in a natural way, and I think we should stick with that. It's a shame to see a lot of sheep disappearing, sheep numbers down, the quality may be better, but there's still a lot of places where I hail from up north, or in the last 40 years, that could do with sheep. Keeps the weeds under control, and that sort of stuff. So, it's a bit of a shame. that the numbers have decreased. However, making sure that flock gets to the right places. It all starts with the farmer, and then of course the shearer, and that's where we're looking at now. Some of those open shearers, and I don't know how long it is since when you competed at Golden Shears. My first one was 1966, and God, 600 just shearers alone.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you did right. Yeah,
It's absolutely massive.
There was a string off all 1987, I think it was 86. Yeah, there was.
Well, nowadays there's Woolhandling and all that sort of stuff that makes up the numbers, but
Yeah.
to walk in here, you know, I think I was about 18 or something, and it was just mind-boggling.
Yeah, it was extreme. But you are dead right. The key with the raw industry at the moment is sustainability and balance.
Yeah.
And Mother Nature is a very powerful thing for finding her balance, and that will happen. That might sound a little bit energetic and a little bit spiritual, but nature does find its balance normally.
Oh, absolutely.
And that will happen with sheep, it'll happen with dairying and all these sorts of things. And then sustainability, whether that be sustainability for maintaining staff and staff hours,
Yep.
to sustainability environmentally. Of course, there are big issues on the cards for water quality or water quality and quantity for that matter.
You know, when you mention staff, I mean, once upon a time there was enough sheep in New Zealand to keep you going just about all year. If you didn't have any up here in the North Island, you went to the South Island and so on. You had huge crutching runs, but now with the advent of second shear, you don't have quite so many crutching runs. I mean, I actually managed a big run here for Graham Clearing and Co, and our crutching run lasted 2.5 months in the winter.
Yep.
And it was hundreds of thousands of sheep. I don't expect they do that anymore, or not to that extent anyway. So yeah, it's all changed, you know, and we do have to appreciate that. There's a lot of things, as I say, we've been the backbone, but we're still a big part. But there's so many things going on when you get into those big cities, and I don't just mean Auckland, Christchurch, Wellington, Hamilton, all those places, Dunedin and Invercargill. They've all got their part to play, and they all do it pretty well. So we've got to balance it out.
Yeah, you did right.
And we don't have the people in the rural industry anymore. There's not the jobs as such. You know, freezing works have gone down, which was really terrific off-season work for the likes of shearers. And of course the timber industry, well, that depends on how old the trees are at the time and if there's enough of them.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it was like very good to see all the school children turning up here.
Yeah.
You know, they're all turned up here. The teachers or the principals have allowed them to come along to support the show. But beyond that, of course, it's just keeping that good connection between urban and rural, which is essential to New Zealand. So I was really pleased to see them all rolling in, and they stayed for a while. Like all those schools that rolled in here and sat, and the kids are entranced in what's going on. They're watching the pressing, they're watching the Woolhandling, they're watching these shears.
And they've done that for a long time here, right from day one. It's really good. They do the same with Tikawiti and one or two other shows around the country, and that's really, really good. But I think the thing we've also got to appreciate, you know, is that it doesn't matter where you are, urban or rural, there's a lot of people get up early in both situations. We always chuck off about, you fellas in town don't get up early, but it was a big shock to me when or it wasn't a shock, it was just a reminder that when I gave up shearing, I drove a truck in the milk train, but up in Waiarapa, and we had to get up at 4 o'clock. You know, start work at 4:30. And then when you drive down town and find out all the bakers are there at 3 o'clock in the morning and so forth and so on, you know, and we used to take milk to the hospital, and of course they go all the time. So it's all those sort of things, you know.
Yeah, it has. It's changed dramatically, isn't it? I was in a motel just down here for actually, and I was woken up by the verticals in the night. And I thought, it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop now. It just keeps on rolling. Once upon a time, we used to travel down home. The police would actually come and see us because they knew we're sort of the only ones on the road to say, have you seen anything? They come down to the shearing depot. And I said to my brother the other day, who's still running the shearing gang, he said, oh no, he said, there's more than us on the road these days.
Exactly.
He said the roads are full, whereas once at 5 o'clock, it was just a shearing van zooming around, picking up people and doing their thing. Anyway, back to shearing, we better get back onto this shearing film. So Aaron Haynes here from Fielding, one of these up and coming shearers, you know, on this wave, these youngsters coming through. We're discussing maybe a changing of the guard, maybe. We've got the David Buicks and the Aaron Haynes is coming through. So,
these are young shearers that have come through the grades. The likes of, Aaron and those boys and Murray Henderson and all those. And particularly I've had a lot of interest in David Buick because I remember his dad, I used to shear for the place that his grandfather used to shepherd on at Pahauhau, just out of Masterton in the 60s, and David's father was still going to high school. So it's been a long association with him, lovely family, and he's turned out a really, really good cheese. You know, he's got to be right up there with the very best of them. He's been making a lot of finals. I think he's won the odd one or two, and goodness gracious, if he got to the final here tonight and won it, I mean, well, it'd be a bit of a sad day for Masterton because they'd have to put a new roof on.
Is that right? Well, he's getting a huge following. I'm not sure about the TAB, but he's getting a huge following on the texts coming in of who they think might win.
Yeah. Oh no, he's up there. I mean, okay. As we've gone through the years here, I don't know, 20 odd years that I commentated here, as you can imagine, a lot of finals. There's been some tremendous battles, but these young people are presenting a new battle. They're trained quicker, better, whatever. The sheep are generally better because of more manure, etc. So it's all in favour, you know. And these fellas go out now, and they really, their gear's good.
Yeah,
very, very good. I mean, we had some gear experts, as you well appreciate and know, you know, all through the years. But boy, these fellas now, the combs are better to start with. So that's and the hand pieces run beautifully. Yeah, so it's a tremendous.
I remember as a boy, I used to send the combs away to a fellow, John Hand at the time, to get them done up because I wasn't skilled enough to do it. Yeah. So he would do them up, but actually you can just about pull them out the back these days.
Yeah,
and start sharing.
Yeah.
No, neither of us have probably pushed them.
Well, no, definitely. Yeah. I mean, gear. I used to be really good at gear, and I used to love doing gear. But my thing was always, I'd do a comb for somebody. And they go away and use it, so we'd fashion it a bit to suit them. But then I wanted them to be able to do their own combs from then on, because I feel it was so important, you know. Because your hand's different to mine. When we talk about that, you know, whether it's heavy or light, fast or slow, all that sort of thing. So I think it's very important, you know, that they are able to do their own gear, appreciate it better. Just makes it a lot better shearing. But as you say, go and buy a pack of combs, and I haven't bought one for ages, so I guess I'd get a shock.
You get a shock at the price and probably how good they are when they come out of the packet. But but it is part of the shearing game, isn't it? You need to know that for your own well-being of how to do them up and what is a good bevel and what's not, and all those sorts of things.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, there's a local man there. Two local men actually. Peter Cleandon from Masterton here.
Yeah, Peter originally came from up north too, from memory. Now I think he's still the wool man for Wrightson's, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, down here in Wairarapa, but and he's often made those semi-finals, you know, when he hasn't been shearing full time. So who knows? Somebody like that, a dark horse, you never know.
Beautiful last sight. Yeah. See that he'd organised that sheep really well. He must have had a really big undermine. He just had that little bit to finish. He had a brilliant last sight. So how are the Aaron Haynes 30.1 points at this stage? This is Richard Pearson from down the road at Carterton.
Yeah, good to see Piercy having a go again. You know, his one aim is to keep shearing in the open as long as he can.
Is that right?
Yeah, and you know, it's fabulous. Yeah, I mean, he's shown here, I don't know how long, for years and years. And he's a good shearer.
Yeah.
But, and he often says, you know, well, one of these days they all might fall over in front of me.
Is that right? It's always good to go to shows and then all of a sudden you realise that there are shearers that turn up to that show that they don't go to any other show, but they support their local show.
That's right.
And they come along there whether they be old or young or just don't do shows anymore because they've got other commitments.
Well, Ralph Smith's another one. He's from up Dargaville, Tangawahine actually. And Ralph's shorn for a long, long time. And he's sure on the veteran, so he's over 65. And a good shearer, you know, and it's one of those things, as you well know, you can't get it out of your blood. No. If you're able to get up there and have a go, you're going to try.
Yeah, you are.
I must admit, when I watched the veterans this afternoon, I thought, oh God, I wish I could do that. But here we are.
Yeah. Oh, it was great to see them up there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, you know, a good mate of mine, Jeffrey Kringle, JJ Kringle was up there. You know, and Snow Harrison come all the way from Invercargill to have a go. One of the last surviving members of the very first Open final. So it was good to see him up there. A sprightly fella. He bounced up there as though he's on springs.
Yeah. Actually, I made the comment to my old mate Brian Cox and we shore around here in the Wairarapa for a lot in Dargaville a lot. Great old shearer, old Cox here. And I said to him when we were watching JJ Kringle, I said, I don't think he's ever made a second cut in his life. It's so cool.
I know.
I don't think he'd know what a second cut was when he was shearing, you know.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I saw with JJ for a number of years. He was on the fourth stand when I was just a boy, actually. And he would get the head right in there. He was just so full, and he was so clean.
Yeah.
I mean, immaculately clean, and every sheep.
Yeah.
No matter how tough they are, or what breed, or what's going on, every sheep was shorn.
I'm sure
really
he
clean.
used a couple of teeth at times just to keep them
Yeah,
right.
gets around that shoulder there, put all those shots in. He was second, not that it's probably that important, and JJ doesn't want it live streamed. But he made it. He was second here last year to Hugh McCarroll, I think it was, not
Was that
last
right?
year, as in 5 years ago at the 50th.
Yeah, the 50th. Yeah, that's right.
As a veteran then, of course.
Yeah.
And so it'll be very interesting. But I went for a walk, down the changing room. So it was an interesting thing. It was just before the veterans were about to go, so they were all down there.
Yep.
And then, of course, the open boys were after that. So they're all down there doing up their combs, doing their thing. And the tension, I don't know whether there's more tension coming from the open guys or the veterans, but you could feel it. It was like
They never
trying
give
to
it
walk through
away.
the sea for a minute.
They just don't give it away.
All good, all good.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump in here, boys.
Yeah, you get it.
And join you for this before the next heat starts.
Yeah, good.
I don't know if we're going to be on camera or not, but I
Sure,
thought you might be interested to hear how the money's been going.
Yep.
We have actually just suspended bidding because the heats have started.
Oh,
but
okay.
Once the top 30 have been finalised, we'll reopen again.
Oh,
and
is
we've
that
started
right?
to see some big money coming on. Some of the particularly the local favourite David Buick.
Yeah.
And the old horse David Fagan as well, but then there's also Dion King. We always see good money for Dion. And we're actually going to be opening an option once the finalists decided tomorrow, fastest off the board.
Oh.
And I imagine Dion King would be the favourite for that one, because
He'd
once
wanna
he
have a
gets
go at that,
going,
wouldn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's one to watch out for, viewers. Fastest off the board, as well as our two make the final, top three, and tournament winner booklet that are very popular.
Oh, it sounds good.
It does.
It's amazing. I remember when they first put the betting in. I can't remember when it was, but there was interest. Quite a bit of interest there. And there was lots of $100 put on, which was
That's right.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the big bets we had today?
Yeah, I did. I had some of them come over, and I thought, oh, my goodness.
So 2K on David Fagan we had today, and a K on David Buick, Gavin Much, and Dion King. So they are all going to return at least 5K to those punters, and it just goes to show that any of those naysayers that suggest that shearing's not a sport, well, you tell punters that. Because they wouldn't place money on something that wasn't a sport.
No, that's
You're right. So are the odds staying the same, or are they starting to drop their odds?
Well, we have to close them because of to see how the heats. You might get it like we had an upset there a couple of years ago where some big names didn't make the semis, so it's just safer to close it. Have a look at who gets through, then we'll readjust, and we tend to open about 15 minutes after the odds, the results come through. So.
Oh, okay. Oh,
really
good one.
good.
Oh, well, there'll be more money to come here, eh?
And so it's great, this live streaming. I mean, I'm in the stadium with you guys, but I've actually got it on my computer going, so I can see the results and see what's happening and keep up to pace, because you've got to, when you're coming to changing odds and that, you've got to keep on the ball, because there's always going to be one punter out there who knows more than you. Then you're in trouble.
It's so incredible, you're talking about betting and all that sort of thing, and the points coming up, and I can well remember 1966, and they used to write the points up above they had a little balcony that walked along
That's
the front.
right. Yep.
And they used to, Doug Buick and a couple of others, get up there and write up every heat as it finished. And they never missed. They had that for a long time. It was quite amazing. The change, is just...
Well, I mean, we're on something that emphasises that change more than anything else, is this live streaming and the technology that we're able to capitalise on. I mean, I've been involved in the Shears for probably 6 years now, and even in that short time, the technology has improved. And you just think of all those people, and we welcome them all from overseas, in the UK and Ireland and Europe and America and everywhere else that are watching this, and it's just great because they get to experience the Golden Shears just like we do.
I think the UK, the United Kingdom, the few times that I've been able to do different world championships and so on, and their appreciation of what shearing, wool handling and so on, the wool industry is absolutely amazing. I know they've got, 60 odd million sheep, well, people rather. Yeah, we had the sheep, didn't we? But and you sort of think, gee whiz, there's 1 million watching or whatever it is, or 500,000, and that's not many out of that 60 odd million people. But their industry's not their sheep numbers aren't that big over there, so they've really taken to it, and they do. They treat the shearers just like God. It's unreal.
Well, it's just exposure, isn't it? Once you get exposed to the sport and you see it and you understand how hard it is, then you start to appreciate it. It's no different to darts. People think that might be simple, but when you actually have a go yourself, you realise those guys are actually quite good.
Absolutely,
Pretty much so. They've really got darts going, haven't they? It's a big thing now on TV.
And shearing could be the same. I'm hoping that soon enough we'll be able to get live on TV so everybody can experience it. But,
this man's already had a bit of exposure. He won that speed shear last night. Abraham, he pulled that off the local boy, so he'd be very pleased about that.
See, he's the young gun that's come through, and he's got to be in with a chance.
And as a Masterton boy, I'm very pleased to see him come through too. We're desperate to get a home winner. We've never had it before.
Yeah. Well, you've got a couple of good boys in the senior grade at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. So hopefully they come through.
You could get 2 or 3 there in the final from Masterton.
Yeah.
If they make it through, Ethan Pankhurst has won, and there's a McGruddy and
they did well down south, so and that's always a good stepping stone. If you go down south to Belcluse, the Gore, and so on, it's a good. It's hard to say it's an indication, but it must be a really good feeling for those shearers to win or get in the finals down there and then come here. They know they're on track, and then of course if they do Tamarunui, Apiti, and so on, and Waiatua, it makes it really good. It makes it interesting.
Yeah, I bought their confidence too, Phil. You know what confidence is like. Then they can, just go from strength to strength. To Fodder, of course, from Hastings, massive shearing name to Fodder.
Yeah.
There was Sampson and Mana and
he's actually Sampson's son, and comes from Tautoro, and I'm sure you know where that is.
No.
It's just out of Kaikoui where the Te Whara family come from, where Whānau comes from. But it's been a great name with shearing. Some fantastic shearers out of that family. And not only in the competition, shed shearing, they are very, very good.
Day out and day in sort of stuff where you just get to work and get it done.
Yeah.
Just for those guys watching at home, I noticed there's a couple of shearers there that had very good or very little penalty points for the board, but quite large ones out in the pen. So obviously they're not having to go over an area twice. Their technique on the board's okay, but they might be a bit rough once it gets out the back.
Well, they have to. I mean, the whole idea is to get the wool off as fast and as clean as you can. Fast, that's pretty much explanatory of it. It explains itself. But when you're talking clean, the farmer wants a nice clean job. He wants no ridges left on. He wants no cuts made to the skin, and the next part of that is he doesn't want the wool cut about.
Yeah.
So what our judges up there on the board, and the only thing they're looking for is if the wool's cut about. We call it second cuts, 2 cuts.
Yep.
If the shearer has his comb not quite right and he's going a little bit fast and the sheep may be not quite as good as they should be, then at that stage the comb can tend to ride up and leave a bit of wool on. Now if in the next blow the comb maybe 2 teeth or 3 teeth of that goes over where that first blow was and cuts that little bit of wool off.
Yep.
It's about so big.
That's right. And it's no
and
good to
again,
anyone.
we as commentators always say, well, it is. It's good for tennis balls.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a job. It's a hell of a job.
Yeah.
But that's about all.
So that'll be why you see the likes of Daniel McIntyre, who's got quite low board points and relatively high compared to the rest, the penalty points, pin points at the back.
Yeah, because the judges out the back, I mean, they can't get away with just leaving the wool on and not having any points taken off, so we don't worry about that on the board. Those judges are just looking for that second cut or 2 cut.
Yeah.
So once they go down the chute, there's another couple of judges down there, and individually they go along and make sure they judge every sheep at least. Or 2 judges judge each shearer or other, or 3 depending on how many's out there, and they're looking for any ridges or any wool left on. So, and they usually go, once we go to a training school or training day for judging, it's around about the size of a matchbox. If that amount of wool is left on, then that's a penalty point. Right. Now that doesn't mean that's not the end of the situation as far as points are concerned, because if you've got 10 sheep and you have 10 penalties, then you divide the number of penalties by the number of sheep, so you've actually lost 1 whole point. Right. It starts to sort of, you think, what are these fellas up to?
Yep.
that's how it works. It's a system that's been evolved over a long, long time, and it works pretty good.
And to understand shearing and appreciate how it works, you don't really need to know how the judging works per se. You just need to know what gets judged. And on the finals night, when we withhold the pin information to keep a bit of suspense at the end, at least they know that how they're placed coming off the board is a good indication how they're going, but it's not the end of the deal.
But the shearers also know whether they've done a good or a bad job. You know, I mean, it's like anything in the Gerald. You know damn well when you're shearing along and the farmer comes along and says, "Hey, you're leaving a bit much wool," and you might have a little kick back at him and a bit of an argument, but by and large, you know damn well how much you've left on, and it's exactly the same up here on the judging on the shearing competition board.
Yeah, like these boys will know how long they're taking to shear each sheep. They just know that in their head. They don't look at a clock or anything. They just know when they're shearing in the shed, just like a good swimmer, Olympic swimmer knows exactly when he's going to hit the wall per stroke. These boys are exactly the same. They know exactly how long it took to shear that sheep. They're thinking, right, that's not fast enough. The next ones need to be quicker, without even looking at what's going on in front or around them. And as far as those the outside pen goes, out there, very difficult to get away with anything because the sheep's tipped up on its tail for a start, and then the front legs lifted up high like that, and the head's lifted up like that. The judge goes right through there.
A good view of everything.
Under good light. Then it's onto its feet from the side view, then turned around like that, and the judge will go, yep, right, out.
And so he might only say yes, but he won't tell you how many strokes he's taken.
That's right. Hopefully in years to come we'll be able to get a camera out there, just a fixed camera, just to give people now and again just an odd view of what's going on.
It's not. It has been done. I just can't quite remember. Somewhere around one of the world ones I went to was sort of done, but you also can't leave that out there, because that's.
That's right. You can't reveal everything, but
it is a good system. It is a good system, and now we've got it's all computerised. So you can get it pretty quick, and that was always one of the problems. Was that time thing, and you compare it to something like chopping, whereas when the block comes off, you know the winner.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
But unfortunately, with this, you can't do that.
So that
could be a final if you want to.
The next heat runners. I mean, look at this.
It's heat 12.
David Buick, the local champ, Gavin Much, former world champion, and your boy Nathan Stratford from down your way.
Stratty there.
Mark Granger, another young gun that's come through in the last few years. And
we've actually taken a lot of money on Mark. $31 he was paying before the competition, and he's now into 17. So punters have told me something, and that he's a genuine chance here.
He made a good shear here last year. Mark Granger. He done pretty well. What Johnny did.
He hasn't been up in the open very long either. But he's obviously from. Just like Jack from David, Paul Mark's father, and he's taught him well and so forth and so on, and he'll have the best of gear.
And it'll be very rare for someone, even though we talk about coming through the ranks, to succeed at senior. It's not usual. Well, it's unusual for them to then come into open and succeed. They need to starting again, isn't it?
Normally it is. There is the exception to the rule the odd time. Brett Roberts is one at the moment. Brett Roberts has went from the winner here last year at the senior, and then from the intermediate to the senior, and then hit the open ranks and straight into best quality jobs, straight into finals, straight into plate finals, straight into.
But it generally doesn't last too many times, does it? You'll have a few. And there have been, John Kirkpatrick was one, and David, if we can remember back that far, was probably one as well. There's a lot of good shearers have made, but there's also a lot of shearers, top senior shearers, have never quite made the transition, and that's simply to do with speed. To be able to shear faster and keep the same quality, it's a huge ask.
Because it only makes sense that once you go quicker, then in theory you could start to lose quality.
Absolutely. And that also makes you appreciate just how good the open shearers are. And we're not just talking about the top shearers. The open shearers, even the bottom half of the open shearers, if you like. I mean, they're all shearing at 400 a day pace. Plus, it's pretty good.
And a clean job. I've actually had the pleasure of Nathan Stratford shearing at home a few times. And I've sat there, and this is a standard shed job, and he was pumping a lot of sheep out, and they're a big strong ewes like this here. And they were as clean as a bell. Absolutely clean. And I'm standing this close to him. Right there, right beside him, browsing for it. And I said to him, leave a wee bit on, Nathan. That wool won't grow back. You know, that's how clean it is. It's as clean as a whistle. So, and travelling at pace. So, yeah, normally they would have to go away, the senior shearers, and really build up their hand-eye coordination, their stamina, their mental ability, go around the block a couple of times, all those sorts of things, and then start hopefully making plate finals and becoming match fit, because that's the other thing you can't do. Unless you get in finals, you can't become adapted and to be able to draw on tools and grab the tools at the right time and change the handpiece at the right time, and knowing when you should really push everything out and grunt it out, knowing when maybe you could do a wee bit rougher one, how to pick your pen, all those sorts of things, until you've been in them.
That's experience.
Yeah, it's experience. So if you don't get experience, then you can't iron those things out to work really well.
Well, gents, it's been a pleasure. I'm going to go and do the books.
Okay.
See you later on.
Thanks,
I'll keep that money rolling, yeah?
Yeah, keep the money coming.
It's just funny we were saying then about Gavin Much from the mom, and originally from Scotland, of course. But I can well remember when he came over as a young shearer, went into the junior and so on. Very, very clean, extremely clean quality. And I, to be honest, I think there was a few people around that probably thought, ooh, the transition to open when he finally got through junior, intermediate and senior, the transition is going to be, you know. But he was one of the ones that probably got there quicker than others, and I mean, look at him there.
Yeah, he's a determined boy, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Well, he's been a world champion and the likes. Here's Stratty here, so another big hello to all you Southerners down there. Nathan Stratford, of course, made the final 5 times here in the Open so far. He'd be worth putting a bit of money on. He's got that real quick hand, but he's always clean.
It's easy to say that, yes, he hasn't quite got the speed of the others, and perhaps he hasn't, but you only need 5 others to make a mistake or 2. And if he shears like he normally shears. And the other thing is that, you know, even down at Gore 2 weeks ago, when you and I were commentating down there, he had a pretty good final.
Definitely.
I think in actual fact he dropped his quality just a touch and sacrificed it for a little bit of speed. But, I mean, let's face it, those big sheep down there, my goodness.
Oh, yeah, they're big stropping ewes, aren't they?
Beautiful big. I mean, even the second shear ewes, the tutus, they were absolutely magnificent sheep. So
they were.
It was a big job. It was a huge job, you know.
But really, like the rest of the Open guys, like Nathan has a lot of first class Open titles to his name.
Oh, absolutely.
He's won a stack of them from. Sometimes I've seen him at the New Zealand Champs and other shows, and you would have seen him as well. Sometimes he's a sheep and a bit down. And he winds them in, and he's dealing with the best of the best. That shows you just how clean he is, because he's dealing with the Gavin Mutches and the Buicks and David Fagans, and he winds them in on job. He's got to basically collect 3 or 4 points somehow.
Yeah, and it's very hard if you've got to collect 3 or 4 points from your time penalties. But he has the capability to do. He's got the and it's important that a shearer like Nathan doesn't drop his quality, because he's probably. I mean, I have seen him shear 1 or 2 fast finals, and he's come off first, and with some good shearers alongside him. And I think he appreciates that, and he works on that, and that's his thing. So he makes sure that he does it. If he keeps doing that, as you say, he's been in 6 finals here or something.
5 now.
So he's he's had the experience of being in those finals. And they all say, you talk to all of them way back. You talk to all of the shearers that have been in the finals back. It's another ball game altogether.
It's another. It's a bit like a chess match. It's another step up. So it's good to see him here. But you're right. The cleanliness has served him really well. He can do it. He's the current PGG Reichson's.
Very talented over multi-breeds.
Multi-breeds. So he nailed all those. That again. Yes, he is. He's back in that. Another Southerner's in there. Well, there's actually a couple others in there, which is Big Chas Tauriki's in there, and Troy Piper's mate, who had a sensational shear here before. I don't know whether you're in the audience in for or not, but Troy Piper on the front stand had a tremendous shear here earlier, as David Buick is.
David, right? Oh, he's on.
But this is earlier on. Troy had a really good shear.
Well, see, Troy's he was a fabulous intermediate and senior shear. Absolutely fabulous, you know.
He was at the top of the senior when we went to Aussie. In fact, his points, I worked his points out one day, or at a couple of shows actually, but especially at the Southern Shears here one year, that if he was in the Open, he would have qualified fourth. You know, he was just shearing that well at the time. He was, certainly just a senior, but he was going really well. So here's David Buick, 6th last year, made the final. So
he's made it a couple of times now, anyway, 3 times I think. But he's as I said before, my God, if one of the Wairarapa, if there was 2 Wairarapa boys in there, and one of them won it, they're up for a new roof for sure.
Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We like that. We like that.
Just fabulous.
You get at the odd time of Jeff Holmes, real local man at Waimate there, and hadn't done a lot of shows, but was a very good shearer. Sort of got convinced into start doing shows by the late Roger Points Roberts. Come on, Jeff. And Jeff just didn't like that, the limelight and all that sort of stuff. He just liked to do the shears, but he was a very good shearer. Managed to get out there, but in the finish, he made the open final at Waimate.
Yeah.
Wow.
No,
I've heard some noise, but that's the biggest noise I think I've heard.
Yeah.
Maybe apart from the Golden Shears here.
He was one of the. Can't just quite remember where he represented, but it was one of the South Island regions when we had the Karahol Harvey Country Day at the Commonwealth Games in 1990.
Oh, yeah.
And he was one of the regional representatives. So I can't quite remember which region. And Jeff and another fellow by the name of Sam Wynn also came up from Melbourne, I think, somewhere around there. And they'd never ever shorn against some of these big names, But in that particular, we took out the top 24 by the different types of shows that they'd won, and then the regions were allowed to pick out of the shearers that were left. So they were sort of the next ones in. And look, those shearers came up there and they shore out of their skins.
They're right.
And I can always remember Sam Wynn in particular saying, I don't care what happens, I've shorn in the same show as David Fagan. He couldn't even get it. He wasn't even in the same class. It was an open. He was an open shearer, and he was just so wrapped. And happened that day that in the teams event, I remember Edsel Ford winning the money or the prize out of the top 24, if you like. But on paper, King Country were looking good. Southland were looking pretty good. Their team, I think Colin Quinn might have been one of the shearers then. And so there was some good shearers, very, very good shearers. I mean, they were just outside of that top 24. And blow me down if the North Island East Coast didn't take it away. Jamie Fleming and Roy Cooper. And they just, you could see the veins sticking out on their necks. They were so thrilled to be representing their regions and so on. And that's what it's all about, When you get here to Golden Shears, they're obviously representing themselves. But it's also their families, who they shear with, and the area they come from. So there's still a bit of that, and that's really neat. That's really, really neat. And that's what's going to push someone to win every grade. Whether it's woolhandling, shearing, wool pressing. I missed the wool pressing today. I haven't been too well the last couple of days, and I'm glad I'm here for it. I think when is it? They have their final tonight, is it?
There's a Trans-Tasman wool test tonight.
Really?
Too, I need some good points from Nathan Stratford there at 33. Mark Granger's at 34. David Buick, this will be interesting. This 28. That's looking
good. You look at David and Buick's board points. And that's.
And his job's only 5 out the back. Wow. And only went to 6.6.
It's always
super sheer.
That's it. And look at young Mark Buick down the bottom. But he's lost a bit of. What is it?
Mark Buick, 42.
That's the younger brother of David, I think.
Mark Granger, 34.
See, look at that. Ooh. And they're all, top 30. That's top 30 stuff, perhaps.
You've got to bring your A game to make the top 30.
And getting into that top 30 is hard enough, but then that top 30, I still think that over the 23 years that I commentated here and the 10 years I competed, it used to be a top 24. The top 30. That's where you get magic shearing, because 8 or 10 sheep, I think it's 8 sheep, they can all handle 8 sheep, even the ones that are a bit younger, 8 sheep you can go like hell and still keep a good job, and that's where the competition is. And I think if you talk to a lot of the open fellas that have been in the semis and the finals, they'll tell you the same. That's the hard one to get through. You get through that top 30, you've still got a lot of hard work, of course, absolutely. But you just don't know about the young fellas. That's the trouble.
No, that's it. And hey, look, it's a clean slate when you're right here, isn't it? It's it's not a place to go living on your reputation, is it? It's true. Oh, this is a new one here. Dion King at 32. That's number 11.
Yeah.
That puts Troy Piper as top qualifier.
Yeah, that Troy, and then I think it was David Buick.
Oh yeah.
So look at all these names. Look, Justin Ward, Brett Roberts up there, Shelford Wilcox, Colin O'Neill, who's not normally I mean, there's still a few heats to go. But the likes of Colin O'Neill really is a fine wool specialist.
Yeah. That's right. Chaz is down there at 37. Leon Samuels, he just couldn't get it going. Leon Samuels.
And yet last night he shot quite well.
Yeah. He just couldn't hit that rhythm. You know how he lives on rhythm, and he just flows. And when he hits rhythm, and you see it shows, away he goes. It's good entries, isn't there?
There is.
Chris Mills, Lloyd. There's one Lloyd Alexandra there. Hasn't got any easier.
Well, that's it. And you know, years ago, Roger Neal and Lloyd Alexander would have been right up there. I mean, I think Roger's still full-time shearing. I don't know about Lloyd, but you know, look, Jimmy Edmonds, 52.
Damien Boyle, one of the Aussies.
Yeah.
What have we got up here? Oh, that'd be an interesting thing to watch. You've got Uru Weeds there.
Good shearer.
Yeah, he's good shearer. We're from Ojai Way. Is he on stand one? That's him there. Uru Weeds from Ojai, down the deep south there. It's once upon a time you could buy a house there for $1. It's a wee while ago, so it is. But there's a lot of sheep out in Ojai district.
Still.
Yeah, still out there. You know, still does quite a lot of coal mining and the likes out that way. But very, very good shearer. He makes a few finals. You know, got a world record to his name, a combined record of, I think it was a 5-stand one. So he's done a few hard years.
It's steady and got a lovely style.
Yep.
And there was a lot of shearers around that area, you know, Pirata, Abraham, Uru Weeds, a lot of those fellas. Some of the Kirkpatricks and you know, and now Brett Roberts. You look at Brett. I mean, his style he's stuck with it, and he's made it better and better.
Yeah, here's Digger Barn from Tikawiti. Digger
how many times has he thrown us?
You're right. Digger is a master shearer. Been around a long time. He won't be shearing full time now. I think I can say that comfortably or confidently.
No, he's got a big farming operation in Tikawiti, fairly big.
Right.
As far as I know, he's still on that, and he still does a bit of. I think he does the odd bit of part-time shearing, but you know, he's just so talented.
Yeah, he's a worker, isn't he? He's a working maker. I've seen him attempt at a couple of world records. He does still hold one as a combined one. But because of his style, he throws the body around a lot because he's such a worker that it's very taxing on him physically, and it nails him. Here's another man. There's another master shearer, ladies and gentlemen. You've got the pleasure of watching all these really good shearers. He holds 2 world records on wethers, isn't it? Merino wethers.
Right.
Yeah, the single and double. And I think the single's about 10 years old, and the double might be way beyond that. So no one's too keen on having a go at it.
He's a fabulous fine wool shearer.
Oh yeah,
there's no two ways about it.
Yeah, great shearer. Grant, he's not. He should get lots of recognition because he's a phenomenal shearer.
Yeah.
But he's just not one to go shouting from the rooftops. He's a bit like Darren Ford. He just does what needs to be done. He's up there. He makes the finals. He's thereabouts. He wins quite a few finals. But really good shearer.
See, when you start going back to the Ford names, Edsel and the other Edsel and Darren, of course, but some of the other Ford brothers as well. Those were very, very good shearers.
There was Glenn and Martin and Edsel. Morris.
I remember Glenn. Glenn was a real machine. And you go back, some of those other names like the Neal family from, I don't mean Roger, there was another family, sure in the same era as Tom Brown and all his family. There was absolutely fabulous shearers, Go way back in those days, and because there was the 70 or 80 million sheep or whatever we had, old sheep. So there was sheep everywhere, and you had long runs, big sheds, and you could get in a shed, Glenary for 10 days, 2 weeks, get married to the stand. So it was all that sort of thing was really fabulous. I know the first shed I went to was out here in Brooklyn Station, and 45,000 sheep, goodness gracious me, they just never seemed to stop coming over the hill. It was amazing.
It's a sea of sheep, isn't it?
Oh.
Makes you tired looking at them sometimes.
Yeah, and as a learner shearer, I had a learner stand and I was way down the bottom and ended up shearing. It was another fellow, Lawrence Reary, I think it was from memory, from around here. And of course, then we also had to go and do the dagging in the 3-stand dagging plant in the back of the shed.
Oh,
yeah. So we'd shear all day between us on one stand, then we'd dag until midnight or something. It was quite unreal. But yeah, just and I'll never ever forget those scenes of mobs of sheep. You know, 2,500 ewes and lambs coming in every afternoon. And we'd shear the lambs straight off the paddock, off the mums, fresh little Romney lamb, beautiful little sheep.
Is that right?
And then they'd put all the ewes in overnight.
Yeah, we milk lambs.
Milk lambs. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And, so you know, in those days, and there was fabulous names. You know, Posters,
there was.
Bing McDonald, the first year I was here, 96, Bing McDonald won the Shears, and I still can't, you know, it's just so hard to forget watching him and watching his hand. It was so slow. Now that's another era, so we're about to see the close of a huge era here that's been fantastic. But you still got to recognise those fellas, you know, Bing McDonald, Snow Quinn, Brian Alderson.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it's just amazing. I mean,
I see Snow Quinn out there in the audience before, actually.
Yeah, there's a few of them here, and that's really cool.
Yeah, it is really good, huh? And then there was the Poteyes were a big name, weren't they?
Yeah, you know, Mac Poteye, Duff Poteye. And then our men from up north, you know, Ivan Rosendich eventually won one.
Yeah.
Beautiful shearer. And Norm Blackwell, unfortunately, just passed away last year. But, you know, came down here with as far as we understand, his shearing clothes and one set of good clothes. Oh, yeah. And a couple of cutters and a comb. And he won it. And he came back next year and won it again.
Oh, real farm boy.
But shearers that go, you know, just so many. Ray Alabaster, Jack Dowd. I mean, some of your South Island names, you know, just Epsom Murray McSkimming. You go on and on and on. All eras over that 55 years.
Dead right.
Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
And all in their own era, they were top men. You know, you always get the argument, how good was Colin Meads and how good is he in today? Well, I don't know any argument.
That's right. And
it's the same with Snow Quinn and David Fay.
Yeah, you can't compare the two eras together. Yeah.
It's very hard.
Another very good man in here, of course, is Cam Ferguson. We just went past him before and we're chatting about other stuff. But it's good to see him here. He's a former world champion, right? Which is brilliant. And he's won it here before, of course. Hasn't done as many shows as he would normally be doing. I haven't seen him as much as I would normally see him. But he's turned up here today. It'll be interesting to see. He's obviously shearing around the place somewhere, so he'll be fit. But yeah, normally
he's got an amazing turn of pace as he goes through the 20 sheep or whatever it is. Yeah, all of a sudden he seems to step it up. He's got an overdrive somewhere that he brings in. It's hard to bring back, you know, for the other competitors. But who's that old Digger doing?
Yeah, Digger, he is. He's doing well. Now, he had a son here last year, I think, Digger. Can't remember his name, but he was in the junior, I think it was. Josh, that was his name. Yeah, young Josh made the final of the junior. Had a torrid time, so he did everything that could go wrong. Probably did for him. Anyway, that's last year now. Don't know whether he's still shearing. He's still at school at the time. He might be on a farm cadet scheme now or something. Here's every week some touches.
Yeah, still be at school, but he was also right up in one of the Chiefs training squads for the younger grades. So he's very good football, very good rugby player.
Good on him. Yeah, well, of course, there's been a lot of great shearers, big rugby players. You know.
Oh yeah.
Sinzan Brook, sure a lot of sheep. Glenn Osborne, sure a lot of sheep, didn't he? So yeah, good. He's Grant Smith here, isn't it? Grant, it is Grant.
Yeah,
just tell by his posture.
Beautiful practical shearer.
He is.
And he's at the top of that.
Yeah. He's got, he's been around a while too. I was talking earlier to Coro saying we always called Nathan Stratford, young Stratty. Yeah. But young Stratty's actually 41 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and Grant Smith is, his son's in one of the lower grades. So, they're all getting a bit of age on them.
That's right, and it comes up quickly, as we all know.
Yeah, that's right. They just got a 32 there, actually.
It's not too bad, is it? It's gone yellow too, so.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of cams down the other end, 34.
Yeah,
a little bit
it'll
bluer,
come up a wee second for us. Here we go.
There we go. 35.
35 there, 33 for Digger. That's good.
Yeah.
35.
The era weeds, 35.
Grant Smith's 37.
Well, there's every chance he'll be in the top 30. You know,
There's no give me's.
No.
Oh,
It's like I was saying before, Gerald, you know, that top 30, to get in that top 30, because there are so many. You're only sharing 6 sheep. Your grant's 39. But not far out if he is.
yeah, he'll be close. He'll be close. I hope he goes through. He'll be very, very close at that. Going on memory of what was there before.
Tell me, what did you think? You came up last year, I know, you know, just before you came up, we were commentating down at Core, and you were thrilled to bits to come up here, and as I said to you at that time, it's just, hopefully it's the same for you this time. It's so special to be invited to Golden Shears, and you walk through that door, and whether your first time here as a competitor or an official, or you know, it's just something else, isn't it?
It is, yeah. No, I was absolutely right. I had, I had concerns as one would, and I was apprehensive. I was very fortunate to sit beside you at the Southern Shears that year, because up till then I'd sort of done my own thing, you know, commentating on my own. So I spent 15 to 20 years doing it, and I was concerned about that, you know, changeover of each other and keeping track. But that helped a lot when I spent that day with you at Gore, which is good. But then I got to come up here, and of course I'd be apprehensive because it was like it's a really special occasion, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But luckily I run into a couple of Mullinses and some people, and they looked after me.
Yeah.
And I can't have been too bad because they invited me back for some reason from the deep south. So yeah, hopefully I don't take it for granted because it is a special occasion, and I look forward to each time I get invited. That'll be good. Yeah, good chatting. Right, ladies and gentlemen, well that's the conclusion of all the Open. I hope you've enjoyed that. We've had a few chats. We've had an American ambassador in here. We've had a man who's been on the mic here for 20 odd years, fellow Shaughnessy. Yeah, that's right, you're longer than that.
We've learned so much from Phil.
Yeah. We've had McNulty, Kieran McNulty here from the TAB, giving us a few pointers here and there. And in between times, we've just kept you up to track with how the Open boys are going. You've seen the points coming up in front of you, and just, you know, who's who and who's doing what and bits and pieces if you're a lay person to the shearing. Otherwise, yeah, big welcome to you if you've just popped in. So, Coro, how's it going out there? How's the atmosphere going outside here, mate?
Thank you very much. Well, I've asked Toby if he'd, we'll just bring Phil back into the picture. Come over here a bit more.
Oh, that's all right. Bugger.
No, come over.
All right.
Well, the World Wide Web audience, we've come, Gerald and Phil, we've come to the end of, well, this is the year that David Fagan has decided to hang up his handpiece and hang his moccasins on a nail. Well, just here, we're just waiting on Kieran McAnulty, but that's how we've pulled up at this stage. And Wairarapa has never had a Golden Shears Open winner, have they?
No.
Never.
Yeah, they've had a couple
in the 55 years of history.
Yeah. And I was saying to Gerald before, if one of these Wairarapa shearers gets in and wins, then they're going to need to replace the roof.
They're going to need a new roof.
They definitely will.
What about this fella from down south?
Troy Piper?
Not to burst your bubble, but anyway.
Oh, look, I went down there when Troy was shearing and I was yelling at the front of the stage. I said, come on, Troy, we want to see you there on Saturday night. I don't think he heard me. He was too tied up in it, but he took off like a cut cat, and I thought for a while he was going to be the top qualifier. But the Wairarapa boy has pipped him.
Yeah, very good job points, David.
Yeah, it's rather interesting because David's father has been chief referee here and a judge and well respected and so on, Willie.
Yes.
And then David's granddad was the chief judge and for a long time. In fact, I think way back, which was Doug Buick. And you know, I remember his father when he was about 14.
Wow.
Because we used to shear for Pahauhau, which is just out here.
Right.
That's where they worked, and you know they've had a tremendous association as a family with
The Golden Shears.
So you know that would just be so.
We're looking forward to it. It'll be an emotional night, Philip.
Oh,
yeah.
It's going to be. I was just saying, and I'm sure you'd agree with us too, Corey. And you've been there. You've been in the final.
I've been in the
final. You know
final,
what it's
yes.
like. You sweated like anything coming up the steps because I well remember seeing your face. But you also had a smile 3 miles.
Oh yeah, it's a tremendous feeling, and to make the Golden Shears final in anyone's lifetime is great.
Yeah, but to get into the top 30 or 24 as it may have been when
In
you were
those
there,
times,
that's
yes.
that real hard part. Get it because they're just so many of those shearers could get there.
Shannon Warnest.
He had a really good shear.
He can't shear Romney's.
Here he is at the top.
Well, we talked a little earlier on. This Australian team is so damn tough.
Yeah,
Very much so.
Yeah, absolutely.
The days of winding them in on the crossbreeds and letting them go on the merinos are over because you've got to compete all the way
They're
through.
catching us all
Yeah,
the
they're
time.
catching
aren't
us.
they?
Of course they are.
David Fagan pulls in at
Fourth, yeah.
Well,
We've got these youngsters in here, which is good. We discussed
Oh,
them
did you
earlier.
see- did you see
David
what
Buick,
just came
here
through
we
the
go,
door?
here
He's
we go.
obviously got the
He's
latest
got a big bit
ones.
of paper with a whole lot of money on it. Aaron Haynes in here. Young Jack's up there, which is good.
yeah.
All these
Darren
these
Ford, I mean,
English
he's
Moor-
retired how many times?
Yeah, well, rumour has it he's shorn a few million sheep, this boy. But luckily, actually, fortunately, these longer wool sheep are actually serving the southerners.
It suits the southerners?
It does,
Yeah.
because it's just a longer seat and shear, and they have that ability to, really, not so much chase the wool, but let the wool come to them to comb it.
It's a good summer.
It's a good summer. So
Hey
it's good. I
guys,
enjoyed it.
look, we look forward to sitting down again if you guys are free tomorrow, and we've got maybe even tonight, and we're going to bring on Mr. TAB, Kieran McAnulty. He's got some interesting stats that we'd like to talk about. So thank you very much, guys. Phil, we're going to see you again. Please don't go too far.
I just want to
Gerald,
put a little plug in there.
Thanks,
See, there's
Cora.
a North Auckland man in there.
which one is that? Neville?
No, well, Neville Osborne.
Yes,
And
Neville.
Tiffany, although he says he's not from
Tipene
there.
Tefata.
Tipene
His
Tefata.
dad was Samson Tefata.
Tautora.
And I'm sure he'd be tuned in at this
Tautora.
very time. Totoro
Remember
people.
Tautora, Kaiko, that's where he comes from.
Oh, look, that's what we love about the internet.
that's good.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Cora. Thank you, viewers. Hope you enjoyed that.
They
It
have.
was a lot of great fun.
Thanks, gents. Well, Koro, that was interesting, wasn't it? No?